How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to a brand new Ike Live show. I am Mike Iaconelli, sitting to my right, the co-host of the show. So glad to have him back, Pete Glosick. How you doing tonight, Pete?
It's good. It's good to be back. I've been in this seat with you for a couple weeks.
I know.
A couple shows.
I know. We've missed each other the last few. You've done some BUs without me. I've done a Ike Live without you. So we've kind of been missing each other.
Fishing tournaments in between.
Fishing some tournaments.
Schedule's hard to get together, but I'm glad we found this one.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you back. And the last guy that sat in your chair had a giant, humongous head, and your head is of much normal size compared to that guy. It's going to be a great show for you tonight. Listen to me. Hang in there with us. After we go through our sponsor list real quick, we've got a great show in store for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the state of the sport. You know, a lot of rumors flying around the rumor mill right now. Mm-hmm. We're going to be tiptoeing around that stuff, talking to Ken Duke, the #1 authoritarian.
And statistician
on the sport of bass fishing. Also join us, Justin Atkins, FLW champion from last year, FLW Cup winner from last year, and recent BASS Open champion is going to join us to talk about his win and spotted bass. And also Brian the Carpenter, we're giving away some great stuff tonight.
That's right.
Great prizes.
That's right.
This show is brought to you by a lot of really amazing companies that support us. Got to go down this list real quick. Mystery Tackle Box, that little black box, we open it up every week. Man, if you want Christmas to your door, and I'm talking about amazing lures you'd probably never buy on your own, check them out. We've got a really great promo code right now for an Elite Box. If you use the promo code Ike Live, you get
you get a discount.
You get a discount. What the hell? This doesn't say anything on here about what you get. All right.
You get that box,
you get
this box,
yeah.
all kinds of boxes.
Okay. We're also brought to you by Flambeau. You see this beautiful Flambeau backpack. This is the Ike Flambeau backpack over here. You're going to be seeing this in a lot of the new shows coming out. Flambeau makes some great stuff. The Z-Rust products in all of it. Use the promo code Ike Live. You get 20% off.
I got to add to that.
Yes.
Flambeau has a tremendous line of hunting products.
They do.
Right? And for all you guys that are getting ready to get in your tree stand, take advantage of this.
Yeah, if you hunt, go to the Flambeau website. Anything on there, Pete. Mm-hmm. Deer decoys. Decoys of Bob Soley. Anything you want on there, 20% off. Use promo code Ike Live. Also brought to you by Liquid Mayhem. I got just a quick little story. I'm not even going to read this. Had a really, really good tournament a few weeks ago. I had a really good tournament a few weeks ago. And Liquid Mayhem, I'm telling you, was so key to catching the fish that I caught. Holding on to the bait so long. Actually, I stopped using it for a little bit. I went brain dead, and I stopped getting bites. And I started putting it on the Missile Mini Flip Jig Skirt again, and I started getting bites. It's a great story. Seriously, this stuff works. Check them out. Go to liquidmayhem.com. Use the promo code IkeLive25. You get 25% off any of the stuff on there, including all the flavors: shad, garlic, minnow, crawl, garlic crawl, la la leech, all of it. Night crawler, anise crawl, everything. Brought to you by Hobie Kayaks. Hobie Kayaks are the maker of the Cadillacs of kayaks. They've got a brand new, improved, redesigned Hobie Outback. I had a pleasure of testing that out about a month or so ago. I got to tell you, man, listen, that Outback is amazing. It's stable. It's quick. It's light. No hull slap on this thing. Got to check it out. And at a great price point. Go to Hobie.com. Check out the Hobie Outback Kayak, brand new. Pete, who else supporting the show?
Well, TH Marine. We're giving away a trolling motor jacket. What do they call it? Troll jacket.
Troll jacket.
I saw that on Johnny Cruz's boat when we were filming just recently. Cleans everything up, keeps it tight, protects that. TH Marine makes the best stuff in the world for your bass boat. The best products. If you own a boat, guaranteed you have TH Marine products on your boat, or you need to get some. But we love TH Marine, and they are. What do we got going on with TH Marine? Other than we're giving away a troll jacket.
We're giving away a troll jacket tonight.
Okay.
That's it.
And we got the
bass
unit
enough for you, Pete?
What's that?
Is that not enough for you?
It is enough for me.
Okay.
It's plenty. But we are Bass University's giving away its Lucky Hat Week. We're still coming off. We're right at the end of our Labor Day celebration. All new subscribers come over and check out Bass University. We've got our Hunter Blaze Orange Bass University hat, which is our most popular hat. And for all new subscribers, you get that hat. So it's a $20 hat. It's $15 a month to try it. So come on over to bassu.tv and subscribe. Real Snot. I was just Jeff, our producer for Bass University TV, is just learning how to bass fish using one of the Bass University basics to learn how to spool his line. One that Mike did.
Yeah. It was awesome call that I got from him.
Now, I recommended that he get Real Snot when he's dealing with fluorocarbon lines. You know, Real Snot's the best. It's going to give you less wind knots, less tangles, easy management, longer casting distance. Go check out Real Snot.
Yep. Also,
IKE Live 25% off all Real Snot products.
That's an amazing discount right there. Take advantage of that for longer, smoother casts. Also brought to you by Tackle Warehouse. Everyone I know uses Tackle Warehouse. Seriously, everyone I know uses Tackle Warehouse. Give them a look if you're looking for something. It's on their website. I promise you. Also, right now, Tackle Warehouse. If you order any of the brand new IKE reels or rods, reels. If you order any of the brand new Revo Ikes, you get a free limited edition IKE tournament jersey. So go there right now, tacklewarehouse.com. Look for that free jersey if you buy reel. Also brought to you by Line Cutters. Line Cutters cuts line like butter. Brian Carpenter, we got a really cool new product. Yep. Line Cutters is launching the zipper pull. I was lucky. I had it, Pete, on this is my backpack that I used filming all year, filming the new Fish My City shows. And I had this zipper pull the whole year on this backpack. Great little place. You could put it on your jacket, your backpack, your shirt, your kill switch, anything you want. And right now, you can go to the website and pre-order it, okay? So check this out. Go to linecutters.com. You could pre-order that zipper pull. And also, if you use the promo code IKELiveRules20, you'll get 20% off any product on Line Cutters. Pretty amazing product, Pete. Love that thing.
It is.
Also brought to you by Traeger Grills. If you're sick and tired of your grilled meat tasting like gas and propane, check out Traeger. Man, the thing cooks great meat, doesn't it? We've been eating here a lot the last 10, 15 shows, and it's great meat.
Brian,
great
did you eat all those ribs, or can we heat them up after the show?
They gone, yo.
Oh, come on.
We saved the bones.
Gone.
I didn't get any either, Pete.
And and last but not least, brought to you by Release Roller, a brand new sponsor on board with IKE Live. Happy to have those guys on. And our very own Eric the Intern is going to be talking a little bit later in the show about Release Roller. It's great, man. It's a great product if you've got a kayak, small boat, big boat, doesn't matter. It's a great product. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. Hang in there with us. When we come back, a great show. Ken Duke, Justin Atkins, and more on a brand new IKE Live show. Come on, let's go.
Warning! The following live webcast might contain content that some people find crude, vulgar, or objectionable. When watching this program, please make sure the room is well lit and do not sit too close to the screen. If you're uptight, easily offended, or lacking a sense of humor, please stop watching right now and leave the internet. Now it's time for IKE Live.
What is this foolishness?
How many dreams can you shape in a minute, an hour?
The kind of clean you like best.
Lost 3 of my teeth, too. All right, so you lost. Next time you win.
Steamy, hot, hearty, delicious, invigorating.
Folks at home, how you doing tonight? Welcome to a brand new Ike Live show. I'm Mike Iaconelli, sitting to my right, co-host, the crux of the show, the one and only, the handsome as hell, Pete Glusick. Pete, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Great to be back in the seat.
Yes.
Fall is outside. I love fall.
Yes.
Fall fishing is days away. It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Already, and I just love the fall.
Yeah. Tell me about. Haven't talked to you in a while. How's fishing been? Have you been guiding? Have you been tournament fishing? What's going on with fishing?
Well, I fished the Lake Champlain tournament.
Yeah.
And I had one really good day on Lake Champlain, and kind of a substandard day on day 2, but it was awesome being on Lake Champlain.
Special lake.
I mean, it was. You found so many fish at practice.
Yeah.
That I didn't know where to go.
Right.
You know, you're
confused.
You're confused. You're like it's like you think you're making the right call, but maybe you didn't, and it's just the lake fish so good. And here's the coolest thing about the lake up there. This recent tournament we fished, you just didn't see much fishing pressure.
Wow.
Because the lake was fishing well from top to bottom.
So it spread the guys out.
Spread the whole field out.
Right.
You go into a bay and you're like, oh, it's there's going to be a mob scene on this edge, and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
You know, there's nobody on the docks. There's nobody over the,
It's crazy.
It's really crazy.
Now, I got to tell you, I know a lot of people listening and watching right now, and I know Brian the Carpenter has a love for Champlain. Eric the Intern has a love for Lake Champlain. It's a special lake. Mm-hmm. But I got to tell you, after fishing the Thousand Islands a few weeks ago, and after what I just saw the Stren series do last week, dude, I am dead serious, and I said it on stage when I was at the tournament, and I'm dead serious about it. I'm very, very seriously interested in buying some property up there, Brian the Carpenter.
Well, Bass is going there for the next 3 years, so that place is toast.
That place is probably toast. Yeah, but if you but let me
their torches and pitchforks.
I know, but here's something interesting. When that tournament was over, seriously, me and Becky kind of we were still in the camper, we were at the campground, we started looking at property. You can get like an acre to an acre and a half riverfront for about $20,000, dude.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Come on, man.
Let's go.
That's what I'm saying. Let's split this shit.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put in $5,000.
That should be the Bass University hub.
Think about that. We'll get a little bit what Bud's got going on up on Thousand Islands.
Yeah, that'd be something.
It'd be dope.
Maybe we could buy one of them castles.
The Bolt? No, what is it? Bolt? Not Bolt.
I don't know. There's lots of them up there.
What the hell's the name?
They all look like castles.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? The history.
To me, the Thousand Islands it's just such a unique place, and it's so big. It's like there's infinite bays and rivers, and then you got the massive Lake Erie.
Yeah.
It just seems like you could literally spend a lifetime up there.
And never fish at all.
And never get to it all, and just have fun the whole time catching giants.
I believe you're right.
It's a major league fishery for sure.
That's right. And that's why I want to buy property there. Let me finish introing the room. Back in the booth tonight, making this show, this short notice show, very possible. Our very own producer, Brian the Carpenter. How you doing tonight, Brian? Good to see you.
BTC.
Thank you.
There it goes. And, hold on, and sitting next to Brian the Carpenter, Eric the Intern, a.k.a. E. How you doing tonight, E?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Good to see you guys. Now, I want to put you on the spot real quick. Just give me a little, I want to hear a little update.
Yep.
You guys went on a little trip last few days. You went up to see Bud, our good friend Bud, and the Featherwick camp.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about
HQ.
Featherwick headquarters.
Woodstock country.
Yeah, tell me a little bit. I saw pictures. Sounded like an amazing trip.
Dude, that place is unreal, man.
Yeah.
You know New York, man.
Upstate New York.
Lakes everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right. Wow.
I mean, it was September, so the fishing wasn't like lights out.
Yeah.
But still.
Right.
It was still awesome. Still caught
the
4
fish,
or 5 pounders.
Yeah, the fish were a bonus, 100%.
Right.
It wasn't about the fish. It was about being up there and experiencing that deal. And, we ate great food.
Yeah.
Caught fish. Had a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
And you ate all that food up there, and you did not save any for us when we got back.
Bro, you got to get here before 9 minutes of.
Yeah.
I brought a rack of ribs.
Yeah,
I didn't get any
We
either.
will do a
It
little
was all
shout
them.
out here. This is unsolicited. This isn't a paid plug. Brian, you did bring ribs.
Big Kevs, baby.
Big Kevs.
Big Kevs
If you're up
barbecue.
there in Bethel, New York, in that area, Make sure you get by.
They were
Big
good.
Heads. Dude,
They
we
were
had
good. I had a
brisket,
few.
egg, and cheese
no.
breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah.
Their brisket was unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, now I do have to ask you something. So this has been asked before, and I need to ask it again. What does Featherwick mean?
Oh boy.
Now, are you any closer to having the answer to
Absolutely.
what? Okay.
My soul knows what it means.
Your soul does.
Yes.
Okay, Eric, can you give us any more definitive answer than that?
No, it's not necessarily something you could put into words, but
Right.
once you know, you know.
Okay, and then two other. Wow.
That makes sense, Pete?
Gosh, I gotta get up there, Pete.
I feel like we're like, remember when Prince turned his name into a symbol?
Yeah.
I think that's what we're. I think
I
that's
think
what I feel
so.
like this is like.
Yeah.
Ow!
Yeah.
Get the little curly cue.
It's more of a feeling.
It is a feeling. All right, two other rumors real quick on the Featherwick. I have notes about this. One is true or false. Did you visit the old location of Woodstock? And did you or did you not see naked chicks?
No to both.
Yeah,
No to
unfortunately,
both.
that was
Yeah.
not one of the lakes we went to.
Ah.
But it is a cool deal. Bud's got access to this lake that in the famous Woodstock documentary, there's chicks skinny dipping in this lake. And
Right.
he goes there and jacks 5-pounders. It's
Wow.
amazing.
I saw
Way
a
better than
man who
naked
was
chicks.
90% naked.
Wow.
Shout out to Craig.
Oh, shout
Oh.
out Craig. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see that.
He's a
That doesn't sound
fantastic
fun.
individual.
He's
And then finally, the last question I have for you, and then we'll get on with the show. Is it true that you met two celebrities while you're up there? Is it true that you and Eric ran into Cheech and Chong up there and you guys got along?
Not
really
true.
well?
Not
Not
true.
true.
Not true.
Oh,
No.
I
didn't
thought there
see
was a
them.
photo of you
But I
guys.
appreciate your work.
Yeah, I saw your meme work the other day. Lovely.
No, you know what's funny? We have a girl that works in the office with us, Jocelyn. Shout
Yeah.
out to Jocelyn. I know she's not watching, but when we posted that photo, I showed her, and you know everybody in the office was kind of laughing, and she didn't laugh, and I was like, Jocelyn, do you know who Cheech and Chong is? She had no idea
Wow.
who Cheech and Chong was.
That's a shame.
Pete, she had no idea who Cheech and Chong was.
Good for Jocelyn's innocence.
Come on, man.
Dude, you see all the gray in my beard, man.
It's crazy.
I know, time is passing.
I mean, they're so classic.
We're getting up there, man.
We are getting up there.
That's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. We told her. So now
Should be
she
taught
is.
in school.
She should be. Man, listen to me. If you're watching tonight, hang in there with us. We got a great show. Let me remind you, we're going to be talking to the one and only, probably the biggest expert on the sport that I know, on the sport of bass fishing. Ken Duke will be joining us in probably 15 or 20 minutes. It's going to be great to get insight from Ken on the state of the sport. We've also got Justin Atkins, FLW champion from last year and recent winner of the Bass Open down on
Logan Martin.
Logan Martin. He's going to be talking to us about his win, talking to us about spotted bass. I need to hear about that. It's going to be great to hear from Justin. And finally, Brian Carpenter, we're going to be doing an unboxing. We'll be talking a little TH product, and we're going to give some stuff away, right, to questions and comments. If you're
And
watching
concerns.
if you're watching or listening, please, we want to hear from you. Hit us up on the IM. Eric, the intern, in between looking at his phone, will be occasionally monitoring some of the IMs. You can also hit us up
true.
on our social feeds at Ike Live Show.
We got some major league comments already on the instant message board.
Do we?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to, Eric? Do you want to? But before we do that,
I'm surprised that the questions have infiltrated into, like, I know the rumors are going crazy amongst the competitors.
Yeah.
The
What are you
anglers.
talking about?
Yeah.
And you know, the MLF rumors and
MLF.
new tournament trail.
Yeah.
For those of you that you might not have any idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't. But there's, you know, a rumor that the MLF organization, which everybody loves to watch the MLF fishing, is starting a new tournament trail.
That's insane.
That's the rumor. We don't know much. We're going to learn more details about it hopefully tonight. But
I just
I'm
meant they were really
surprised
good. I
it's
just
getting
meant they
out.
were really good questions. I don't know where you're going with this, Pete.
oh,
Well,
wow.
maybe they're a little of both.
I don't know. I like it. We got a great show. Listen, before we get started, as we always do, we want to thank all of our military, active and veteran, men and women. Thank you guys for what you do. It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's a crazy world. Also, thank you to our policemen, our firemen, our EMT. Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate your service. Where do you want to start, Brian? Do you want to get right into it? Pete's kind of talked a little bit about it. You want to jump right into that?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, we can talk because I can talk. I would like to talk about Iceland a little bit, but maybe we'll wait till Becky comes back to talk about that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But let's get right into it. Do we have any questions that coming through that you want to talk about, Eric?
No, there's just a lot of buzz.
Just a lot of buzz. Yeah. So Pete,
there was a question about comment about Pete's hair. What was it again?
Oh, someone said that Pete's hair came from a rare albino sloth. Just a comment, but yeah.
That comment needs to be brought in the show every time.
Rare albino sloth.
It was very challenging to wrestle it away from him.
Who, the albino or the sloth?
The sloth. Fortunately, they're the only thing that moves slower than me these days. Thank you, though. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people watching and listening right now, I'm sure, that know that we're going to be addressing the state of the sport, and I'm sure we've got a lot of guys from BASS, pro anglers from Bass. We've probably got FLW pros watching right now. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we've got upper management from BASS, upper management maybe from MLF. I'm sure we have a lot of the leagues watching right now to learn about the state of the sport. So
ready to drop that band hammer on you.
I like where we're at right now in the state of the sport, and I want to tell you what I mean by that. I like right now that there's a lot of new energy and buzz in the sport. Whether it's rumor or whether it's true or whether it's false, I like it because it's getting people talking about the issues of the sport of professional bass fishing. I like that, Pete. I think if you look at the history of any sport, and Pete, we're buffs on this. We've talked about this shit for 15, 20 years. We've been talking about it. If you look at the history of any sport, baseball, football, tennis, golf, any of them, they all went through these growing pains at some point to get to the next level. They have. I swear to you. Look at them, all of them. And those sports are much older than professional bass fishing. Professional bass fishing is essentially, from the early 70s, right? Late 60s, early 70s.
That's right.
Ken Duke will give us an exact answer. He'll give us a date and a time, probably. But we're a young sport, right? 30, 40 years old, if that, right? So
it's approaching 50 years
Approaching
old.
50, okay. We're still very young. But I like that, in those sports that something happened. There was a lightning bolt. There was a defining moment. There was a catalyst that drove the sport to the next level. I like that we might be there, or that at least we're talking about changes and we're talking about bettering the sport, for the athletes. I like that, and that excites me. It does.
I think it's good. Let's roll out some of the stuff that I guess we don't talk that much about because Fathead never lets us talk about it.
I know.
But the plight of the angler is somewhat challenging for those trying to live their dream.
Yes.
Cashing it all in. Running the country, trying to do this sport. A lot of them go belly up.
A lot of them
go belly up.
A lot of them.
There's a kind of a little bit of an ugly side to the sport where, a strong percentage of the field barely breaks even.
Yeah.
Out there, chasing this thing. So, there's, to make the sport better for the anglers, because I'm an angler, was an angler. We always kind of have that, I always do in the back of my mind, in my heart. I've been through it. I walked through the trenches, and I've been beat up. With some of the things that have happened, and I'd love to see it better for those guys.
Right.
That they, when they make this commitment, make those big sacrifices, that there's some hope for them. That they're going to be able to do well in this sport. So, like you, I agree. We've got some, major players in the sport that are, I don't know, battling, but trying to create a better opportunity there.
Yeah.
Trying to bring more people into the sport, making them better for the anglers, which I love to hear.
Love that.
I love to hear that kind of talk.
I love it.
I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great for the sport. We've seen it, like I said, we've seen it in all of them. The owners versus the athletes, different. Whether it's basketball, the merging of two major organizations to create a singular, organization that really makes it easier to promote the sport.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And I honestly, here's my deal. I think from an angler's perspective,
yeah.
What a great time. And
right.
You're here at a moment where you've got 3 major tournament organizations vying for the best pros in the business. The pros in my mind, looking at this from the outside, it looks to me like the pros have never been in a better position to be able to make things better.
Yes.
For the pros.
Brian DeCarpenter, chime in on this one. Would you agree with that? That what Pete just said, I want to get your opinion on. Do you agree with that or disagree with that? Has there ever been a better time than what's going to happen in the next couple of years in professional bass fishing to make it in the sport? With 3 organizations right now, has there ever been a better time?
I think no. I think opportunity. I mean, before the economic crash, that there was a lot of money. The industry was flush, and then things got tight.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, things are about to open up.
Yeah.
I think opportunities are about to happen for a lot of people.
It's good.
And
it's good.
Who knows how long three tours last? If it can sustain or what's going to happen. But
right.
I think there's a ton of opportunity.
Yeah, I know competition is good. I remember the days when FLW and BASS were kind of battling. Remember those days?
Yeah. Yep.
And it was so good because they would keep trying to outdo each other. And it drove
payouts.
It drove those payouts up. Yeah. And FLW was $1 million purses if you're a Ranger owner.
Oh, yeah.
And the Classic was $500,000, and they kept doing that. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like around 2006, 7, 2008. It just flatlined and started going back the other way. Entries went up, payouts went down, and it got tough. I'm going to throw a little fact out here, and I want to see if Eric knew this. And this is going to shock a lot of people. I don't think I've ever publicly said this.
My money's on no.
And I'm going to say it.
So is mine.
For the first time on Ike Live. And I'm going to give you an average, okay? There's clearly probably more than this fishing professionally that they think they are. But if there's 100 guys that are true full-term professionals right now in the sport, if there are 100 guys fishing full-time, here's my ratio I'm going to give you. You ready for this?
Yep.
There are 20 of those 100 that are making a pretty good living. There are another 20 of that 100 that are doing okay. And then the other 60 guys that are full-time touring pros are either breaking even or losing money each year. Is that not fucking sad? Think about that. You're one of the top 100 pros in the world, fishing the best tours on the planet, and you come in 65th place and you lose money at the end of the year. Is that right, dude? It's not happening in any other professional sport.
Well,
maybe like ping pong or
individual sports.
bowling.
I heard that about golf in the past. I heard that there was like only a few of the top golfers.
No, that is not true. If you look at the guy that comes in 200th place at a golf tournament, he's walking away with a lot more money than we make in the entire year.
Well, we've always had that kind of joke, like, congratulations, E, you've qualified for the elites or the FLW tour, and your prize is a $75,000 bill.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's your prize for making it, and it's I'd like to get that fixed. When I was competing out there, I always wanted the tournament organizations to look at the last place finisher in the Angler of the Year race. If we want to take care of that guy.
Yeah.
I felt like if we as a group can take care of that guy, so, where he can provide for his family or not go broke or belly up.
Yeah.
Then we've done something. For the anglers as a whole.
Yeah.
But it seems like the tournament organizations and even most of the anglers honestly feel they prioritize the winnings at the top.
Yeah.
The top 2 or 3, the top 10.
Yeah.
And that's great. We love to see those big purses. But when you get to that end of that year, that guy that's finishing down low, I'd love to see him being taken care of.
Yeah, Eric, what do you got?
I got an interesting question from Craig on the IM board. And
Craig?
I want to get, shout out to Craig.
Craig.
I want to get your take on it. I would love to hear your thoughts on the new generation who is growing up on their phones and social media. Do you think the pro circuit is keeping up with the need to provide instant gratification for this new millennial generation?
Yeah, Craig, great question. I got 2 answers to that, Pete, and I'll let you have at it. Brian Carpenter,
we're going to give Craig a prize, by the way.
Yeah, Craig, you just won a prize with that. That is actually a really good question.
He's going to get the mystery tackle box we open later tonight.
Craig, you got yourself an MTB. I got 2 points on that. The one is things are changing, right? The access is changing, and I think that, and I know we tend to diss a lot of the YouTubers on this show a lot, and that's okay. We can make fun of anybody we want.
I wouldn't give them that satisfaction. We ain't dissing them.
But I think there are I think there are a lot of positive things about social media and YouTube and those YouTube guys that are keeping kids fishing that might not normally want to fish. I do really like that. I said that before. There's definitely, to me, a lot of new blood coming in because they saw something on social media or they saw one of those YouTubers and they said, man, I want to try that. So it's different than the way that we got hooked because of our families or in Fisherman or Babe or Bill or Al or, So that's changing, but it's the same thing, right? They're influencing people to want to do it, influencing kids to want to do it. So I like that. And then the second part that I wanted to address, Craig, is that, I think the sport is keeping up with the changing times. And I'll give you 2 examples. I think the live coverage, FLW, BASS, MLF, whoever, all these organizations, the future of those organizations is live coverage. And I think that's the way that we're changing with the times. And then another great example, and this is a great way to throw it to you, Pete, Bash University, right? Education on your phone, on your tablet, anywhere you need it, on the fly, and we figured it out, and we're providing. People want information like that. People are consuming info, and I think Bash University is a great product.
Well, I mean, we work real hard at it. We use the best anglers in the world, we're providing that in a streaming format that caters to the new guys, to the people that are just getting exposed to the sport, and it's bringing us to a younger demographic, and that's great. And I think a lot of the pros have stepped up to the plate to answer the call. Some struggle, like social media. I mean, it's a challenge for a lot of the pros, a lot of people that are trying to get into it. You still see a lot of pros that just really. They're not using it to the best of their ability, but man, you got a lot that are. You're a great example of that. You do an amazing job with your social media. I think
you're a good example of the other end of it, Pete.
Hey, I had my Facebook page when Facebook opened their doors.
You probably did.
Yep. But
still looks the same.
I've made 2 posts since then. but hats off to Scott Martin. Who's probably leading the pace from the social media perspective.
He's doing a good job.
And
from YouTube for sure.
Yeah, I think the sport is morphing that way, and I think that we're answering the call, we're connecting with the audience. But I have to agree with you, man. That live is, I can't stop watching it. Yeah. Bassmaster Live, FLW Live, watching the guys just battle and compete out there.
It's compelling.
It is totally compelling. Yeah. Watching them not catch fish, watching them struggle, make decisions, fail, watching 6-pound smallmouth get dropped right at the boat and cost you the tournament.
Eric knows all about that.
Oh my God.
That wasn't available.
It's a major league heartbreaker.
That wasn't available. It is now, and I think we're moving in that direction. I think we're answering the call. I think we really are. But a great question.
That was a good question. Eric, got any more questions?
Yeah. So going off of the live thing, Kyle Hill brings up an interesting point. Let me just scroll up. All right, live is great, but what happens when they start charging a watch with either a membership or something like that? Do you guys think it's going to go that way in terms of charging a membership to watch live content, or will it always stay free?
I think for the tournament, for the tournament organizations, I don't think they'll ever charge for live.
Nobody's going to pay for it.
I don't think they're going to charge for it. They're going to sell ads, and that's how they'll make their revenue.
I mean, that's the balance, right? If you're getting no charge, you're getting advertised to, right? That's the balance.
Yeah.
And so you got constant advertising.
Yeah.
I tell you, that's a big criticisms of I got for Bassmaster. I love watching live, but when my feed goes south or whatever, and I got to get back on, I must watch that same commercial 20 times. Through one, just by
what product is for?
My stream gets stopped, and I can't remember now. It's like just blurred,
Yep.
And so because you learn to get around it, but that's what you're going to deal with, right? It's either if you're paying a monthly fee, you're not getting advertised to. If you aren't paying, and you're getting advertised to, and you gotta spend that way.
Yeah.
So. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure some of them will try it. I know MLF has a subscription service that you can get some of the content there.
That's right. Yeah, they were good ones, man. They were good ones. Getting back to it, Pete. Are we going backwards in this sport right now? I can't help but to think what we were just talking about, that the payouts were better, things were better 10 or 15 years ago than they are now. That don't seem right to me.
Well, we're talking from the angler's perspective. I would say, maybe so. The payouts have gone down, the entry fees have gone up.
Right.
From the angler's perspective, from the audience's perspective, I think they've got a lot. It's really advanced.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of great new ways to consume the sport.
Yeah.
To see the live. There's a lot of great new stuff, and something to consider is that our sport, like the rest of the world, got pummeled during the economy crash of 2008, right?
That's true.
So everybody took a hit. All the tournament organizations, the sponsors, and we're growing now. Economy is good, and I think it's evidenced by the fact that we've got now a new player in the tournament scene that is really making a play right now, or seems to be making a play.
And you're talking about? Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about MLF.
MLF. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I think things are expanding. We're at a boiling point. I really think it's coming to a boiling point right now. At least the rumors. I can't wait to hear the facts. But it seems like our sport's coming to a place where it's gonna make a leap. It's gonna move. Something good is going to happen. Out of this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited, Pete. This is a great segue to get this guy on the phone, and I've known Ken for a lot of years. We've said it over and over. There's probably no one walking the face of the earth alive right now that knows more about the sport of professional bass fishing than Mr. Ken Duke. He's joining us right now. I'm so happy to have him back on Ike Live. Ken?
Hey, thank you for calling Bass Pro Bankruptcy and Divorce Services. Press 1 if your entry fees are due and you have no idea how you're going to pay them.
Man,
I'm pressing 1.
I'm pressing 1 too. Yeah, we actually
How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing? We wouldn't be able to press 1 because Bass Pro Shops has banned us from their phone service a long time ago.
Well, actually, I was referring to Bass Pro in the sense of you and Pete are Bass Pro.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant Bass Pro Shops. Ken, how you doing? What's going on with you?
I'm doing great, guys. Managing editor of Fishing Tackle Retailer Magazine, enjoying that work very much. Getting ready for the big ASA Sport Fishing Summit coming up here in about a month.
Ooh, very nice. Where is that at?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Ooh, Charleston.
Cool. I've been should be there. We need to talk about why you need to be there sometime.
I've been threatening to attend that, Ken. Maybe I'll come down and visit you there this year.
I think you guys should make it. Yeah, it's really the best networking opportunity in the entire fishing industry.
Wow, that's awesome. You need to be there, Pete. Ken, I want to jump right to it. We talked a little bit. We kind of briefly talked about it. The state of the sport. A lot of rumors right now being circulated. We've got 3 players right now. We've got FLW. We've got BASS. We've got Major League Fishing. They've all got really good products. They've all got great anglers. Let me just start with the simple question. I asked Pete, I asked Brian, I asked Eric. I want to ask you, what's your opinion of the state of the sport? Are we better now than we were 5 or 10 or 15 years ago, or are we worse off right now?
I think in in a lot of ways, we're better off. I think the economy has made us better off, Mike, than we were 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
But let me give you something that I know Pete and I have talked about in the past. I'll give you an example. In 1967, Ray Scott put on his first tournament. You guys were joking about I could say the dates and the times. It was June 5th, 1967 on Beaver Lake in Arkansas. And he charged guys $100 to enter, and first place was $2,000. That's a 20-to-1 ratio. Well, right now you're fishing, the Elite Series with BASS, and your entry fees are about $5,000 a tournament, and you have a chance to win 100. That's a 20-to-1 ratio. The ratios that you guys pay out for entry fees in 1967, 51 years ago, and the fees paid now are the same. The sport hasn't moved forward even an inch in that way.
Wow.
And if you want to make it even worse, you could say that, 30 years ago, a guy who caught big fish for the tournament would win a boat and a motor and a trailer.
Remember that?
I do remember that.
And today, you guys have to take up a collection at registration to get paid.
And we did. And I don't know if you knew that, Pete. Kevin Van Dam actually started it. And I think the pot at Thousand Islands ended up being like $3,000 just by the anglers passing us a darn hat around.
No kidding.
Isn't that crazy?
There's no payout for lumber?
No.
Wow. Well, don't they have the Phoenix Big Bass Award?
I
think they
for the year.
Well, for I fish the Bass Opens now. They had the Phoenix Big Bass Award, which was $1,500 for the biggest fish of the Derby.
Right.
But I can't believe you
Ken,
guys are passing a hat.
What has caused this? Why hasn't the payout? Why hasn't the anglers' exposure? Why hasn't sponsor relation? Why haven't those things advanced over the years? Why have they stayed stagnant or decreased?
I think because the sport hasn't grown. It's really easy to say the sport has grown because you see a few more boats on the water, but that's kind of anecdotal evidence, Mike. Those aren't real numbers. License sales this past year are up for the first time in over 20 years.
Wow.
And if you want to look at the peak of the sport in a lot of ways, financially at least, I would point to the late 80s. In the late 80s, there were 57,000 bass boats being sold each year. Do you know how many, fully rigged bass boats were sold last year?
No.
Maybe 8,000, and that's way up.
That's way up
for the past few years. So the sport's not getting bigger in a meaningful sense.
Yeah.
And I would say, this is a phrase I use about our sport a lot, and I wish I didn't have to. I call it the big lie. We talk about how many people bass fish, but when you really get right down to it, how many people do you know who bass fish, out of a $60,000 or $75,000 boat, and they've got $1,000 rod and reel combos, and they've got $20,000 worth of electronics on their boat? It's really a relatively small number.
Yeah.
And that's why we've only got a handful of boats being sold each year. If you talk about the really nicest bass boats, the ones that are fully decked out, the Bass Cats, the Rangers, the Tritons, and so forth, the 20-plus foot boats with the 200-plus horse engines, we're talking about maybe 4,000 of those being sold in a year. And if you figure that there are about 200 guys fishing between Major League Fishing, BASS Elite Series, and the FLW Tour, that means 1 in 20 of those boats is basically already in the Elite Series or the FLW Tour.
Right. Yeah, that's
shocking.
shocking.
Thinking about it in terms of those ratios, the sport's kind of it's not as healthy or as big as we'd like to think it is.
Well, we have this great new influx of high school anglers, college anglers, and the kayak fishing world. Isn't that the reason why fishing license sales are up, or why we're expanding, or have some role in it?
Absolutely, it does, and I think that's been a big help and a big boost. You've also got organizations like the American Sport Fishing Association and the Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation that are working really hard to grow the number of anglers we have out there, because we as an industry need the influx of that cash and so forth. But if you're talking about the high school and college anglers, I don't mean to be crass or mean about it, but they're fishing out of mom and dad's boat.
Right.
If you're talking about the kayak guys, they're not spending the kind of money that we're looking for in terms of big time bass fishing.
Right.
They're dropping a few hundred, maybe $1,200-$1,500 on a great kayak, and those things have come so far in the last 10 years. But it's still not the kind of financial investment that we think of when we think of, that a lot of people think of when they think of a bass fisherman.
Right.
Well, let's jump right into I guess one of the main things we want to talk about. The rumor, that we're hearing is the MLF is starting a new tournament trail. You've heard these rumors. You've probably heard more than me. What do you have any? Can you offer some? Give us some input on what you think is going to happen out there if this new tournament trail actually comes to fruition.
Wow, that's a really tough question, Pete. I mean, I've heard a lot of rumors. I've heard that, that Major League Fishing is trying to get Johnny Morris involved as an equity partner in that effort. And obviously, if somebody like Johnny Morris, who is so clearly and obviously the most important and influential person in the sport, he's the 800-pound gorilla. If Johnny Morris signs on with Major League Fishing and he wants, for example, Mike or Kevin Van Dam or any other of the big stars to participate exclusively in Major League Fishing, well, he can flex his muscles and make that happen because he can tell their sponsors that he needs them over on his side, or bad things are going to happen with regard to their product placement. Now, what I don't understand and what confuses me about this rumor about Major League Fishing coming in and pulling so many of the top pros away from the Elite Series is, how does that help Johnny Morris? Doesn't Johnny Morris benefit more from having a healthy BASS and a healthy FLW and a healthy Major League Fishing so that they're influencing as many people out there as possible and bringing more folks through his doors? So that's confusing to me. I'm not exactly sure how that benefits a guy like him who is, the $10 billion giant.
Wow, that's a good point.
I suspect he may have thought of that.
I'm sure he has.
I've heard rumors that he insists on having 51% of Major League Fishing, and that the current ownership of Major League Fishing isn't interested in that. I've heard that he's already turned down the opportunity because he doesn't want to shake things up so much. We've heard initially, when I heard this rumor, I thought, he can't want more than 30 or 40 guys, right? Because that's kind of the MLF business plan and format. They give a nice media spotlight to that many guys, but if you get bigger than that, how do you make that work? But then I heard from what I would consider a reliable source that they're looking at 70 to 80 anglers.
Wow.
And that's a much bigger platform. That's a much bigger television presence than what Major League Fishing currently has with their smaller formats. And it'll be interesting to see how that works. Just so many unanswered questions right now, guys. And the guy sitting right next to you there, Pete, he probably has a lot more answers than I do.
You'd think I would. I really don't. I'm actually hearing a lot of things, Ken, that I didn't know. So this is great.
He does have a pretty good poker face, though, Ken. We don't know what he knows. But
I'm not sitting down at the table with him.
I did hear a rumor that Johnny Morris is not making a move unless Eric the intern gets an invitation for this tournament trail.
I think we all say it about Eric the intern. Whatever Eric and Brian say, the rest of the industry is going to follow.
Big facts.
Big facts.
Eric, do we have any questions coming through right now for Ken or for anything we're talking about?
Yeah, we got an interesting one from the Gingerbread Man. And the Gingerbread Man wants to know, surely we have just as many fans in fishing as golf or NASCAR. What do you think it's going to take to attract the sponsors so we can challenge those sports for at least those same time slots as major airtime?
Wow, that's a good question.
I think there's a couple of things. One is we've got to crack 1 million. We've got to crack that number. Bassmaster Magazine, which is the #1 bass fishing magazine out there in terms of circulation, reaches only about 525,000 members, subscribers. That's way less than 1 million. The television audiences, whether you're talking Major League Fishing or you're talking the Bassmasters or you're talking FLW, they're not reaching anything like 1 million. And Pete and I were talking about this on several different dates. But, when the Bassmasters television show debuted in, I believe it was November 1984, about 300,000 people watched on TNN back in the day. When the Bassmasters television show ran for its final episode earlier this year, I suspect that about 300,000 people watched. So the audience hasn't really grown.
Right.
And part of the problem is that, when people record the show and watch it later, a lot of the ratings mechanisms don't capture that.
Yeah.
So the audiences may be a little bit bigger, but they're not really nearly big enough to capture the kind of audience and the dollars that golf does.
Right.
And that's why you guys are still fishing for your own money.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about like Major League Fishing airing their World Championship on networks, alternate networks like Discovery, CBS? I mean, that's kind of exciting.
The CBS stuff was very exciting, and kudos to Major League Fishing for pulling that off. I haven't seen the numbers as far as what their audience was, and that's obviously what's very critical. But anytime you're on a network that is in so many homes, that's a good thing. But you got to keep in mind that Bass is on ESPN2 or whatever, and that's in a ton of homes too. Maybe not as many as it was just a few years ago, but that's still great distribution, and they're only picking up about 300,000. When ESPN bought Bass, they thought, okay, we're going to take this to a 1, which means 1 million households will be tuning in to watching the Bassmaster Classic, and they got halfway there and never were able to pull it off. If you can't increase that number, it doesn't matter whether you're on CBS or NBC or any other channel. It's all about hitting that number, and until you can hit that number, you can't interest the General Motors, the Coca-Colas, and companies like that. Yeah, you can get Toyota because Toyota is really interested in showing that their trucks are tough and quality products and things like that, but you can't get the Cokes, and you can't get some of the pharmaceutical companies.
Right. Well, let me tell you right now, Pete, if Coca-Cola, pharmaceutical companies, Holiday Inn Express, General Motors, any of those, if you're watching right now, Ike Live has 371 people watching right now. So that's pretty impressive. Just in case, call Eric tonight, and we'll get you taken care of.
Hey, Ken.
That might be too many.
That might be an
like 50.
overestimation. I think. Ken, let's. You've been around the block. You've been with this sport since just about its infancy.
Are we still talking about fishing, Pete?
Yeah. Well, we can change topics if you like, but let's stick on the fishing topic for now. Let's look into let's have fun. Let's talk about what could happen. MLF starts this new tournament trail. They pull 70 anglers from Bass. They pull the top guys from FLW. What happens to the Bassmasters and the FLW organization if that actually gets pulled off?
Obviously, it's going to be a major hit to BASS because in the last 7 or 8 years, I think BASS has kind of put all of their eggs in the tournament basket. They don't really focus on anything anymore except tournaments, whether they be Elite Series in the Bassmaster Classic or you're talking high school and college. They're all tournaments all the time these days. I think there is so much opportunity for any outlet, whether we're talking FLW, whether we're talking Bass, to kind of get back to the roots that have, in many cases, been abandoned. Let's stop teaching an entire world that you have to have a $75,000 bass boat to catch one of these fish. Let's stop telling people that you have to have a $1,000 rod and reel combo just to play the game. So there's plenty of room there for people to get it. And one of the things that I think people are forgetting when they talk about what Major League Fishing might do here and how devastating this could be to the Bassmaster Elite Series, Bass will still have their outlets. Bass is still going to have the Bassmasters television show, which is going to be on ESPN or whatever. Bass is still going to have Bassmaster Magazine. They'll still have Bass Times, and they'll still have Bassmaster.com, and those are powerful media outlets. FLW will still have its outlets, which I think are, in terms of the quality of what they put out there, is as good as anything anybody does. What Major League Fishing is going to do is it's going to have the stars, and that's obviously a big, big deal. But one thing that hasn't happened in our sport is Major League Fishing hasn't created a star. And if they don't have the ability to create a star, they're going to have to find a way to do that. Otherwise, they're always going to be dependent upon FLW and BASS to create a farm system for them.
Right.
And right now, Major League Fishing, I don't think has what I would call a web presence, a print presence, or anything like that puts them on the same level as Bass or FLW. If they can pull this off, if they can create this tournament circuit that has all of the superstars, that all of the people that everybody's interested in, I think what they're going to have to do is still find ways to show who's the very best, why they're the very best, and they're going to have to bring these people into everybody's home and show that they are stars.
Right.
And that's different than giving everybody a little piece of the exposure pie. It's very different. That's all about putting a guy up on a pedestal after he wins the 2003 Classic and 2006 Angler of the Year. And if they're not going to do that, they're going to flatten out that star power that they're trying to grab. So I think it's really interesting, but it's hard to say what direction things are going to go until we know more about these rumors. Right now, it's interesting to see Bass react to the rumors, and it looks like they're going to be they are scrambling, obviously, but it looks like they're going to be putting out a release here maybe pretty soon, announcing changes to their schedule next year, which is one of the most demanding and expensive anybody's ever seen.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick, and again, this is I'm talking about, these are rumors. This is no fact. I didn't hear from anybody official, but I'll address some of those rumors, Pete, that I heard from the Bass side. I heard, one of the rumors I heard is that the Western Swing that was already announced, which is the California and up in
Washington.
Up on the river, up there in Columbia River, are gone, no longer on the schedule. Second rumor I heard is that they're offering select guys, and so not across the board, but they're offering select guys no entry fees next year.
I got that offer.
Yep, you got that offer. Okay, so this is a true rumor. So you're talking about $50,000.
Did they also say don't show up? Sorry, Pete.
No.
Okay.
That's a lot of money. And then the third rumor I heard, and this is actually exciting to me if this rumor is true, is that they talked about creating a true angler advisory board. They've had one for years, but they're talking about creating one that actually meant something.
That has some power.
That has power. So I don't know from a legal standpoint what that means, or from a financial standpoint if that means a little bit of revenue share, or I don't know what that means, but that was another one of the rumors I heard. So these are rumors floating out there that Bass is going to make some changes,
Well, it would seem that they, in this position, they're going to be, forced to, make some changes. I think that's what we talked about, right? This competition is good. It seems like it's going to be a good thing potentially for the anglers.
Yeah.
Now, this is not the first time something like this has happened, Ken. Let's go back into the history of bass.
Yeah.
When is the first time that something like this happened, and how did the organizations and the anglers react to it?
Well, when Ray Scott started BASS back in '67 and '68, there were other organizations that kind of saw what he was doing and tried to copy him, including one that was headed up by Jerry McInnes, and Jerry McInnes and others tried to pull some of Ray Scott's following away and get their own thing going, but they weren't able to. Ray was there first. Ray was there best. Ray was the best salesman this sport's ever seen. There were some rivals in the 70s, the American Bass Fishermen, the World Bass Association, some others, but those were poorly funded. They went under. They declared bankruptcy. Some of them had tournaments and then didn't pay anybody. They had huge problems. Of course, Operation Bass started in the 70s. They were the opportunity for guys to fish smaller little one-day tournaments, and that became FLW in 1996. And, of course, Irwin Jacobs and FLW, these other organizations, the guys that we're talking about, they all started not because they wanted to do the anglers a great favor or to correct some injustice, but they saw opportunities to make a profit.
Right.
And that's where FLW came in. And Irwin Jacobs started regularly offering $100,000 paydays. And he made his FLW championship a big payday event, as you guys talked about earlier, $500,000, $1 million if you were a Ranger owner, and so forth. And that's obviously what Major League Fishing, if these rumors are true, is looking to do. They're not looking to be the sheriff in town and come in and correct all these ills. They see an opportunity to make a buck. And as long as they're making a dollar with it, then this thing is going to be good. It'll change the balance of power a little bit. opportunity to make a profit changes or disappears, so does the opportunity.
Good point. Real quick, Pete, let me remind everybody watching and listening, if you've got a question or comment for Ken or anything you're hearing on the podcast right now, please hit us up on our IM. You could also hit us up on our social media feeds at Ike Live Show. And if you're a BASS or FLW pro watching right now, hit us up on the IM. You could use a fake name like Bo Dowden, Steve Daniels. I don't know. Just pick one of the old guys, and you could use that name, right? It's all
Rick Morris.
Rick Morris. Anything, whatever you want to use. Yep. Eric, what do you got? You got anything coming through real quick?
Yeah,
You wanna pop one to us.
Yeah, here's an interesting one from Steve. A couple guys are trying to come up with solutions about how more viewership could be attained in the sport, and Steve is saying, how about a mega tournament featuring top FLW versus top bass versus top Major League Fishing guys? More exposure for people who have a hard time following all these anglers on multiple tours. For example, I'd love to see Scarp Martin mix it up with top bass anglers, et cetera, et cetera. Kind of like an American League versus National League thing that they do in baseball.
I
what do you guys think?
I like that idea. I always kind of secretly wanted to see that.
Wasn't that Bass Fest?
Maybe it was Bass Fest. Yeah, it might have been Bass Fest.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah, we sort of did that. Now, I did hear that at one time, Major League Fishing wanted to partner with Bass, and the original concept for the World Championship was to put the best BASS fishermen against the best MLF fishermen, and that was going to be the World Championship. And, again, this is all rumor. Rumor has it that it was going to happen, and it got to, like, the very end, and at the last minute, Bass said, nah, we're not doing it, and pulled out. So,
well, I know we had Jerry McInnes here in studio, and we asked him, and I'm going to ask you this question too, Ken, is it better? Would it be better for the sport to combine and just have one individual tournament trail? Jerry at the time said, he's open to having that discussion.
Yeah.
With at the time FLW was the only one that was
right.
playing. But what do you think, Ken? Would our sport be better off if we just had one tournament trail?
Yeah, is three too many?
That's a really tough question. I think the problem with combining them, obviously, is they're not all in the same level playing field. Bass is significantly larger than FLW, and Major League Fishing, they put all their eggs in that television basket. They're different business plans. It's not like it's a rivalry of equals. It's a rivalry of people who all have a different business plan, who all have a different share of the market, who all have a different way of going about things. And that's going to be your problem moving forward. Now, the idea of having the best BASS pros going up against the best Major League Fishing pros, well, pretty much those are the same guys. And so you obviously got an issue there. But it's a dynamic that you don't easily...
Well, hell, hey now.
Hey, I'm dumping that.
Wow. We're going to get Ken back in here in a second.
Wow.
Do you hear that?
That was crazy.
Glad I had my finger on the trigger there.
Wow.
It was harsh.
Well, we're going to get Ken back here in a second, but I hear what he's saying. It's an interesting point, and he mentioned it earlier, is that I think for the sport and for the anglers in the long run, one league is a good thing. But for the growth of the sport, for reaching people, is it better to have three leagues? It's a good comment.
It's a good comment. I mean, the reason why we asked that question when Jerry was here, and we asked it again, is we've seen it in other sports where until they didn't hit their stride until they became one.
Right.
One group.
You're right.
One group of heroes to follow.
So true.
One set of games on the weekend.
Yeah.
One Super Bowl.
Yeah.
One NBA championship.
Yeah.
Until that happened, it seemed like that's when those sports hit their
other sports rose to the top. Right. Right. So that's true. I think we've got Ken back. Ken, thanks for hanging in there with us.
No, guys, sorry about dropping off there.
No, we had a weird lightning bolt hit us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's no good.
It's no good.
We survived it.
It's no good. Speaking of lightning bolt, and Pete, you mentioned this earlier, and Ken, I'm going to ask you it real quick. Does the sport, with all these rumors, and if it happens, does the sport need a lightning bolt right now? Does it need something like this to happen to re-energize it?
I think the economy is re-energizing the sport in a good and significant way. I think that the high school and college things are a nice small boost. I don't think they're that significant, really. A lightning bolt. I'm not sure we've had a lightning bolt in the last 50 years. I think the last lightning bolt was Ray Scott. Yeah, the sport could definitely use a lightning bolt, but I don't know where it's coming from, and maybe that's what you have to say about all lightning bolts. You don't see them coming. But I cannot imagine what it might be.
Right.
I don't think Major League Fishing taking over the competitive aspect of the sport is that lightning bolt that's going to change everything and make everything better and put more money into it.
Right.
Well, MLF has done great things. I mean, they built a TV show that people watch. They talk to me about it all the time. Whether we're in our seminars, whether I'm just down at the boat launch, they're talking about the MLF show.
Yeah.
Bassmaster Live is doing amazing things with the live product, and FLW is doing live, a great live product too. So all three of these organizations are doing some really, really great stuff.
They've really stepped it up. And I think MLF is a big part of forcing everybody else to step up their game in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Eric, do you have any more coming through?
Yeah, this is a simple question, but a powerful one from Mike P. Ken, predict what the sport looks like in 5 years.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes, it is.
Mike P?
Mike P.
Mike P? I think Mike P just won something, Brian.
Yes, he did.
Mike P, you just won a TH hat.
The TH hat and a line cutter ring.
There you have it. Mike P.
Okay.
Mike P.
The best thing Mike P is going to get out of this answer is going to be that prize pack. If everything happens the way we're talking about, then yeah, I think Major League Fishing is going to cherry pick some of the top pros, some of the big names out there, but they're not going to be able to get everybody. And they're not going to be able to get some of the bright young stars, because that's been one of the challenges Major League Fishing has faced so far, is these bright new young stars pop up and get a lot of attention, and it happens so fast that Major League Fishing can't take advantage of it right away. So that's going to continue to happen. You're going to continue to see top young pros come out of FLW, like Justin Atkins. You're going to see guys come out of the Elite Series, or whatever the Elite Series might look like in a couple of years, but you're going to see this superior television product coming out of Major League Fishing. I think it's going to look very much like what it does now, except the Elite Series may have lost some of its luster. Major League Fishing may have gained, and I don't know that FLW is going to have changed significantly. But I think that if you were to wake up magically 5 years from now, you will absolutely recognize what you see.
Wow.
Well, I'd like to make a prediction. I think we are going to exceed over 400 viewers on the web show.
That's right.
In 5 years from now.
That's right. We're going to have 30 more people in 5 years watch this show. That would be great. I hope that happens.
Great answer there,
Ken. It
Ken.
is a great answer. Ken, I've got something for you. We're talking so much about growing the sport, the state of the sport, from the perspective of a full-time professional angler. And I want to change it right here and pose you this question. What, a lot of people watching the show tonight, they don't have a bass boat. They don't aspire to be a pro. Some of them probably don't even give a shit about the professional circuit, right?
Of the professional angler.
But they're listening and watching, and they're saying, what can I do? I'm an average dude, right? I'm an average dude. I'm an average chick. What can I do personally to help grow the sport? How would you answer that question for them?
I think it's not any magic answer, guys, but you have to take people fishing. Ray Scott said it back in 1968. He said, kids don't go fishing, they are taken fishing. Yeah. And you got to take people fishing, and no disrespect to the pros who try to take kids fishing and they load them up in their fabulous $85,000 bass boat with $20,000 of electronics on it. That's not really an experience that kid can replicate a week later. You got to take kids fishing and make it happen in a way that they can do it on their own or do it with their friends or their parents. And I think we're really missing the boat on that. There are some fabulous organizations out there that are trying to answer this question. They're a lot smarter than me, Mike. One of them is called Fishing's Future. A guy named Shane Wilson, who is a superior human being, runs that operation out of Texas. He's nationwide, fishing's future is really leading the way in growing our sport on the basis of creating new anglers. The Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation is working every day to try to create new anglers, to keep the anglers we have, and to reactivate the anglers that we've lost. And you can go to the websites for these entities, and you can find out more there. So for anybody out there who truly wants to help grow the sport, there are a lot of people already working at it. There's no need to try to reinvent the wheel. Take some tips from these folks and make some stuff happen.
Take some tips from the Ike Foundation.
Ike Foundation, absolutely.
Take the pledge.
That's right. So go to IkeFoundation.org, take the pledge. Promise to take a kid fishing. It's never been fishing before. You said it, Ken. You gotta give them the experience. You gotta get them out there and let them try it. So.
And you guys have done so much, not only through the Ike Foundation but through Bass University. You guys are educating these next generations of anglers. And when I got started in the sport, if somebody had told me I needed this big, expensive bass boat to go catch one of these fish, I would have taken up some other sport. I would have taken up golf or something, because it would have been unattainable for me. And I know a little bit about y'all's background. It would have been unattainable, I think, for you as well. So we got to find ways to get these kids fishing in farm ponds or municipal lakes and things that they can replicate on their own.
I couldn't agree more. I've said this a million times. When a lot of times when you take a young kid out in a bass boat, they almost feel like they're in jail after a period of time, because they're trapped in this boat, and maybe the fish aren't biting that day, which is often if you're a fisherman, and they get frustrated easily, they get bored easily. But when I take kids to a farm pond, to a park, let them walk around the banks, let them chase frogs, turtles, look at the wildlife, get their feet dirty, wade into the water. It's an experience, and they remember it. They remember it forever. People ask me all the time, how should I introduce somebody to fishing? And that's it. Take them to the bank somewhere. I think it's a much more effective way to expose them to our sport.
Yeah, it
Absolutely. is. It's the best way, and if you can do it, you can make it personal. Most anglers in this country, they became anglers before the age of 8 years old, and they were taken by a parent or a relative of some kind. For the kids who don't have that opportunity, 99% of them are not going to become anglers.
Right. That's absolute key. And we see it in a Bass University. One of the cool things I love about our Bass University classes is we get parents that are golfers or tennis players. They've never been, but their son has been, or daughter's been exposed to this cool sport via YouTube or television. They see it, they love it, they want to do it, and it's awesome to see these parents that they bring the kids to our classes.
Yeah,
and
they do.
They'll sit outside and read a book while the kid's in class all day.
Yeah,
they're committed parents, and
it's awesome.
It's great to see.
Yeah, it's great to see that. I was just checking while we were talking. I was checking on our Facebook accounts, of course, and we have one that came through on Facebook. This is more of a comment, Ken. This is not necessarily a question. It's more of a comment for you and for the show. And this one's from Brian's Ghost. And
on Facebook?
On Facebook.
Okay.
This one's from Brian's Ghost. And the comment is, BASS's downfall is that unlike MLF, they didn't hire a hot chick like Shelly Sanders. All they have is... wait, it's not done. All they have is some average-looking guy named Tommy Sanders. So maybe that's the answer.
I think they're onto something there. I never even thought about that.
I don't know.
There's got to be some way we can quantify hotness.
That's right. I think Shelly...
extrapolate that to ratings. Yeah, that's... I was going to say one controversial thing on Ike Live, if you guys will bear with me.
Oh, yes. Yes, please.
The YouTubers take a pretty good beating on your show. And by the way, gentlemen, I agree with it. I'm not a fan of the whole YouTube phenomenon. Everybody with a camera is not an expert. And that's my gripe with it. But I will say one thing on behalf of some of these YouTube guys who have big followings. What they've done is they've made fishing accessible. They hopped out of their vehicle with one rod and one reel maybe. They went down to the edge of some municipal pond, and they showed people how they were catching fish. Now, today they're hopping out of their Escalade but they've been smart enough to kind of keep that same tone to it. And I think that they're doing something to grow the sport, even though I don't necessarily always agree with the way they're doing it.
I agree, Ken.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's true.
I disagree with us beating on them, though. That's all.
Okay, Eric, what do you got? You got one or two more things for Ken before we let him go. What do you got?
It was just to play off what we were talking about earlier. Jeffrey said he has a simple solution to get more viewers in the sport, and that's cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders, yeah.
Or just net girls.
Net girls, yeah. We've been talking about net girls for like 10 years.
Yeah,
man.
100%.
Yeah, have a net girl, have her in a bikini. It's perfect.
It's the only way to make netting a fish cool.
Right.
Otherwise,
outside of that, you don't use a net.
No, because it's corny.
Yeah, it is.
You would have thought Ray Scott would have gone for this like 50 years ago.
No, that sounds like something Ray would have did.
Yeah.
What Ray did was Ray had these young girls who would write the weight totals up on the board.
Oh,
yes. Like a chalkboard back in the day.
Wow.
And he would find highly qualified candidates to do that.
He handpicked them.
Handpicked.
Through an audition process.
I'll just say they were properly attired.
Yes.
Another comment.
For you, Ray.
Another comment just came from Brian's ghost that said, "I wish I was Ray Scott." I don't know what that means.
Yes. I'll even wear the stupid hat.
Ray is the man.
Ray is the man. I'll tell you, it's been an interesting conversation, Pete. I kind of am. A lot of people are like frustrated and they're nervous and they're upset and they're angry, just about rumors at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I like it. I think it's getting people talking about what needs to happen, what should happen, what we should get rid of, what we should fix, just like we're doing tonight. It's instigated talking about the sport and growing the sport, and I like that, man. I like that.
I think it's a good thing. We talked about Ray Scott. I'm gonna tell. I know I told Ken this Ray Scott story, but I sat with Ray Scott and he. We were talking about the anglers, and do you remember, Ken, when he made the anglers? What year it was when he wanted the anglers all to wear the same jerseys with all the same sponsors on them?
I think Ray probably wanted that every year he was the owner of Bass, actually.
Well, he told me a story about for the Classic that year that all the guys were gonna have to wear this jersey with the Bass sponsors on it, and
like the UFC.
Yeah, like the UFC,
right.
And like what MLF does,
Yeah.
and like FLW did and does.
Catholic Church.
Yep.
And so the
I'm an old altar boy.
so the night before the Classic, the fishermen are in an uproar because they're feuding that they're absolutely not going to wear this jersey.
Yeah.
And they got to meet with Ray. They got to meet with Ray right now. And they did. They met with him, and Ray said at that moment, the anglers could have gotten anything that they wanted.
Yeah.
And they only asked for their jerseys, so I gave them their jerseys. So,
how about that?
Anglers, make sure you get what you want out of this process.
Good point. Good point. Great story. Great story. That's right. That is a good point, Pete.
I really hope that the anglers can speak with one voice or be at least united enough to show off whatever clout they have, so they can come out of this as well as possible.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I think that's a great part to let you go, Ken, and we appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the insight. Always awesome, because every time you're on, I'd learn new things about the sport, which I love. So,
well, hey guys, I love your show. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on it, even though you're posting a remarkably ugly picture of me. I'd like to point out to the audience
You got another one.
that I really look a lot better than that.
Hold on.
Hold on, Brian DeCarpenter's going to change it. As you get off, he's going to change the picture.
Hang on.
Wait, hold on, we gotta crop this.
Wait, what are you doing, Brian? Oh, that's definitely a better one. I think that's a better one, Ken.
Ken, how's
The
that?
problem with pictures of me is they look like me, and I don't like that.
Handsome.
That's
Handsome.
But I really
In a
do
word.
appreciate it, guys. You have a great show. You guys are fabulous. You guys are wonderful for the sport. I'm a fan. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for all you do, and thanks for being on the show tonight, buddy.
Ken Duke,
Take care,
everybody.
See you, Ken.
Pete, you're the dean of bass fishing. Ken is the Duke of bass fishing. Ken Duke is the Duke of bass fishing.
He is.
Brian Carpenter, great insight there. You guys were quiet. We're going to take a little break here in a second, but before we go, I do want to hear both of you guys. Brian, start.
Yes. What do you?
I just want to hear your opinion on all the rumors going on. I just like to hear your thought of it.
It doesn't affect me, in this other than it's going to be great for podcasting content. It's going to be fun. Honestly, ain't nobody putting $1 in my bank but this show, so it's going to be great for this show. So I love it.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Hold on. Did you ever think?
But I'm not out there competing, so it doesn't affect me in that sense. I think it's interesting. Honestly, though, I'm fascinated by the whole thing. A little shake up, some change. Yeah. Change is always good. I want to see where it all goes.
What if MLF approaches you and says, "Hey, Brian Carpenter, you do such a wonderful job with Ike Live," and they steal you away from this show?
I'm in.
And I'm talking about $100,000 a year contract.
Oh, I'm in.
But you got to go all the events, and you got to produce a podcast at each event. Would you do it?
Yes.
$100,000 a year.
8 events?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
There you go. What if Bass came in and said they would do it, but they only offered you $10,000 a year?
Oh. All right. No, but seriously, I'm excited for it. Whatever this is that hasn't happened yet.
I wonder if with all this, there's making plays for the talent. You know, is now Bass going to make a play for Shelly Saunders, or
and MLF wants
let me say this, and that is interesting. And we're going to see what happens.
Is that a
there.
rumor?
Yeah.
MLF wants Zona? I heard. Is that true?
I haven't heard anything. But
Mark Zona, are you watching? Can you confirm that you're wanted by MLF, Mark Zona?
I'm sure he's
Send us an
wanted.
IM.
He's
wanted.
He's got to be wanted by everybody. But I will say one thing, and our buddy Bud Cipoletti texted me this.
Shout out to Bud.
Yeah, shout out to Bud. And it's something that I noticed from the beginning of doing this podcast is there are so many cool personalities in the sport.
Yeah.
And I don't think the fan, the viewer, people watching ever really get a good insight into some of that.
Right.
Meeting guys like Marizo, I just don't think people really understand how amazing that dude is.
Yeah.
And guys like Cliff Crochet with the backstory that Cliff has,
Yeah.
and there's so many of them. Not all of them. Not all of them are that fascinating.
Right.
Some aren't. But
Dave Lefevre.
He's probably pretty fascinating. We'll figure out what the hell makes him tick. But I don't think that the like you watch the Olympics and they kill you with those personal those backstories of every athlete.
Yeah. Yep.
I think bass needs a lot more of that. If something is to go to television to the next level, I think you need to know a little bit more about these guys.
Right.
You get it. I mean, how does football start out? With their playing card and something about them, what college they went to, and the announcers, they know stuff about their backstory.
Dave Brodzik, University of Canham County College.
University of 12th grade.
University of Bradley's. Speaking of Dave Brodzik, Dave, if you're listening and watching, shout out to you. I know you got a busy week. He's doing a grand opening at Bradley's in Mount Ephraim. So
Indeed.
Shout out to Dave.
He's reinvested into Bradley's.
That's right.
So Justin Atkins is ready to go. He's only a half hour late. Or we're a half hour late.
Cool.
So he's ready to fly.
All right. Let's take a little break. Let's is that cool?
Commercial.
Yeah. All right, let's do this. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hang in there with us, because we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to be talking with Justin Atkins right after the break about his recent BASS win down there in the South in Alabama. We're also going to be talking to him about spotted bass. They're a little bit of a different animal, and we're going to get some insight from Justin about spotted bass. And then a little bit after that, we're going to talk about Iceland and open up a MTB, do a TH product review.
I'd like to open up the phone lines at some point, too, tonight.
Let's do that.
Let's have some weirdos call in.
Let's do it. Let's open up the phone lines as soon as Justin gets off. Hang in there with us, man. A lot more of Ike Live when we come back.
I got a surprise for you. You gotta come out.
I'm respooling my reels, baby.
Oh, hush. Watch your step. Whoa, watch your step there. Come on. Keep them closed.
I got them closed.
No peeking.
Hold my arm so tight.
Oh, all right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Surprise!
Oh, yes.
Yes! Woo!
Is everything everywhere? Oh, yes, yes.
Wait.
Yes, yes.
No.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
No, baby, go back.
Look. Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, but baby, look.
Tackle Box is the perfect gift for the fishing fanatic in your life. It's a monthly box filled with some of the most innovative fishing gear on the market, hand-selected by industry professionals. Check out all the different options available at mysterytacklebox.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli here. I love fishing this time of the year. It's cold, it's winter, it's snowing, but if you want to prevent the buildup of ice, use Real Snot. Every time I'm fishing this time of the year, I put a couple squirts on all my guides, especially the tip, before I start casting. Try that tip when you're fishing under these cold conditions, and you're going to catch more fish. See you later.
There's a special place in our hearts for the tools of the trade. They're what we prep for a good day on the water. They're what we clean after a good day in the field. Flambeau's patented Z-Rust technology protects the gear of today from rust and corrosion. Z-Rust for the performance of tomorrow. Preserve, perform, repeat.
You work hard to catch your fish. TH Marine has two products to ensure your fish survive. The Oxygenator injects 100% pure oxygen into your live well. That increases fish survival by 35%. For the perfect combo, add G-Juice live well treatment. It calms fish, stops bleeding, removes ammonia, and replaces slime coat. Get an Oxygenator and G-Juice and keep your fish alive.
Does that really say that? Yeah. Oh, you got to get that so we can pull that up. Folks, yeah, we're live. These guys are ridiculous, man. 3.5 minutes wasn't enough.
Folks at home, welcome back to Ike Live. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday night. I know I am. And I want to tell you one of the reasons, Brian the Carpenter,
yes, I'm
having a wonderful night. There's actually two of them. The one is Line Cutters is officially launching the zipper pull.
Yeah, the new zipper pull's available for pre-sale. That's pretty cool.
It's a very cool product.
Yeah, especially if you're backpacking like that.
Yeah.
Just the ability to always have something there to cut
Yeah.
freaking braided line.
Yeah, I love it because it gives you another opportunity to mount it. Right, you got the ring, you got the flat mount, and now you have the zipper pull. So another great product from Line Cutters. Check them out, linecutters.com. Second reason, Brian the Carpenter, I'm excited on this Sunday night. Hold on, let me brush my shoulders off real quick. Fished a South Jersey Derby today with the one and only What About Bob on the Salem Canal, also known as the Canal. And I want to say they had about 16, 17 boats. I want to let you know that.
Good turnout.
Yes, good turnout. I want to let you know that on a nasty rainy day, we won with 14-2-7 for 5, Woo! Including Big Fish. Thank you very much, Pete. Including Big Fish at 4-1-1. Thank you very much. I came on a missile mini flip jig, black and blue.
Yeah, tell me about that. You told me where you had it hooked.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. I'm going to talk about caught all the fish today, Pete, flipping. And here's the interesting thing: rainy, windy, cloudy day, and most of the guys we'd see every once in a while, we'd see a dude, he'd be just chunking, right? Spinnerbait, chatterbait, because that's what makes sense. Every fish we caught and weighed today came flipping. tight to cover, and on the nastiest, gnarliest pieces you could find. Totally a mind fuck, because you'd think that's the stuff when it's sunny, right? They get buried. Not so, dude. Stained water, wasn't even dirty, just normal stain to it. The nastiest, gnarly pieces flipping a jig or a creature bait is how we caught them. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy. But I think it might have been Bob that he's got these little clips of tidbits about how to fish and how to be successful in tournaments. Some of them I still use to this day.
Yeah.
And he's just such a good thinker, Mike's partner that he fished with,
Yeah.
Bob Soley. But he's, we talked about, like, in the clouds and the rain, the crankbait bite and the spinnerbait bite really get better, get rocking.
Yeah.
And he goes, but you know what? The jig bite gets rocking too.
Flipping bite gets rocking.
It really gets going.
Yeah, they get that. The thing I think is they get comfortable and they get a little loose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of those big fish live in that stuff all year round. I mean, I think outside the spawn, I think they're living in those gnarly pieces, especially the ones where that channel touches a little bit.
Yeah.
You know that stuff, Brian, because you fished them out there before.
Yeah.
And I think they just live there. And I think when it's cloudy and rainy, all that pressure that place gets, I think they just get a little more comfortable. And they eat a little better,
Yep.
It seemed like it was the case
You get
today.
a lot of bites today?
We probably had 25 bites and probably had 11 or 12 keepers out of the 25.
Oh, okay.
And most of the keepers were 12 to 13 inches. A
Yeah.
lot of those thin string beans.
Yeah.
And we caught a big one. We caught a big one about 9 a.m. We caught a decent one about 11 a.m. And we had a bag that was probably about 9 pounds. And we made a decision to go back to an area that we had a couple small bites in and refish it. And we caught that 4.11 and we caught a 3 3/4 between 12 and 2 o'clock.
What was second place weight?
Second place was 9.24. So we
big culls there at the end.
Big culls at the end.
Yeah.
5 pounds in the last 2 hours of the tournament. So
yeah, that's pretty stout for
it
that
was,
body of water.
It was
with 17 boats on.
Yeah, it was a good day.
When I fished it, one of the ones I fished there with him, we caught a 5 at noon, and otherwise our bag was 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Potato chips, and he caught one legit on the last cast.
Wow.
Another one about 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys weighed 15 that day.
Yeah,
that's giant bag.
That's giant.
Well,
bag.
you were right there.
Yeah, we were right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice. We didn't have any 5s, but it was a nice class throughout the size of the fish we had. But shout out to 4th Ward Bassmasters for hosting that event. Thank you guys. It was a fun tournament. Appreciate that.
Have they has 4th Ward now banned you from any future tournaments?
I don't think so. No, it was nice seeing the guys. I saw Big John Milch.
Oh, Milch.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, I saw.
Shout out to Milch.
I saw Gary D'Alonzo.
Wow.
A lot of the guys from the old Federation
Yeah.
snooping around there. It was nice, man.
That's
It's
pretty
nice
cool.
seeing the old fellas. You know what I mean? The old boys. So it was good. Brian the Carpenter, I'm excited. We're going to do Justin in a couple minutes here. I'm excited to get him on. I don't know if you knew this. Do you remember this? This is the second time we have Justin on Ike Live. So it's great to have him back on. We're going to find out. That was a stingy tournament, Pete. That wasn't an easy one to win.
It's so amazing that you watch the tournaments in the South this time of year.
Yeah.
And,
Tighten up.
And it gets so tight. It gets so challenging. 10 pounds will put you in the winner circle. 10 pounds a day.
Yeah.
But yet when you go up on those smallmouth tournaments up north,
it's the opposite.
It's the exact opposite. It's at
crazy.
its peak.
Yeah.
In the fall.
That place was tighter than Pete's knot.
Wow.
That says a lot. That's pretty damn tight.
I know,
Tight knot. You ready for us to?
Yeah, let's
Jimmy
do
J
it, man. I'm ready. I'm excited to talk to him.
Yes, y'all.
I'm looking forward to hearing about your vacation.
Oh, it's freaking unbelievable, dude. Iceland it's untouched. That's the best way I can describe it. It's it almost reminds you of like if you were to walk up in the Pocono Mountains or upstate New York 200 years ago, what it would look like. So undeveloped, you know what I mean? So natural and pristine, and God, it was a beautiful place.
I think BDC would like it. I watched a show on it, oddly enough, and there's more sheep than people.
Oh, dude, there's sheep everywhere. It's incredible. I mean, you're running them off the road constantly, 'cause especially in the morning.
What the hell's that got to do with me?
I think you like. I heard you like sheep,
man. Brian's ghost likes sheep.
Carry on.
No, there are tons of sheep, and It's interesting because like right now they're coming down out of the mountains, and so they're getting more into the valleys.
Oh yeah.
And on those cool nights, it'll be 40 degrees, mid to low 40s, and the road is warm, right? It's asphalt or gravel, but the road is warming. So there's sheep all over the road, and these cars are flying. We're in with the fishing guide we're with, or the other guy, and you're flying down these roads, and dude, they're beeping the horn, and sheep are always in pods of 3, and so they're scrambling to get out of the way, and it's crazy. It's like squirrels here. I mean, there's that many. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I think we've got him on, Brian, correct? Okay. We're joining us now. Second time, Pete, we've got this guy on the show. I'm excited to have him back on.
Well, he just keeps winning.
He just keeps winning, I know. At his rate, he might be on Ike Live every week. It could happen. Recent winner won last week on Logan Martin. Extremely tough event. Had a stellar day 3 to capture the title. You know him from winning the FLW Cup last year. The one and only Justin Atkins joins us back on Ike Live.
How are y'all?
How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Blessed to be here.
Good to have you back on. I'm looking at you right now. You look pretty calm.
It's just another day in the office. I'm glad to be back home. I had to go to Minnesota last week and shoot a few things, and for Berkeley's new topwater line, we got a few things done, and then I left straight from there and flew home and went to Logan Martin. So I'm just glad to be home, kind of chillaxing a little bit.
It's a good feeling to be home after a win, man. You get to soak it in a little bit, look at the trophy. It's nice, man. I like that.
I even
look at that.
Yeah.
There it goes.
I keep it close to me all day.
There it goes. So I got to tell you, Pete has one of those. I have one of those. But Brian the Carpenter and Eric the Intern do not have one of those trophies.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Brian has a trophy, but it's just like a little tin can. It says Top Rod Bassmasters.
Yeah, from hockey.
I feel like that's one of the hardest trophies to get in the world, because not only do you have, professional fishermen that, fish those for whatever reason, whether it's to stay qualified for their respected trail or just stay fluent in their fishing, but you also have the best locals on the lake that get in every one of them. So you're kind of fighting two evils in that, and that's a hard tournament to win, man. I was proud to get it.
Yeah, it is, and I'd agree with that and saying open is hard. I was really proud of the one that I won because it was loaded with Lake Erie sticks.
It's impossible to beat the Lake Erie sticks.
It's impossible. Yeah. Things got to really go right. Talk a little bit about your week. I know most of us watched. The I got to be honest with you. The coverage for an open on Bassmaster, I try to follow it. The blog kind of sucks. I wish they'd be more, you know what I mean? Because I'm constantly refreshing. I'm like, shit, they said, I saw that same post like 2 hours ago. They haven't refreshed it yet.
I would love to see more live coverage from.
I would love to see it from the opens.
I mean, I'm
Ronnie
into
Moore.
it. And,
Ronnie, I know.
But
we need more Ronnie.
I was getting ready. I wanted to. I was going on Bassmasters to try to see what the standings look like, who finished second through 20th.
Yeah.
See if they had a little story, and even like this afternoon, the standings weren't even up after the win.
Wow.
So I couldn't get hardly any coverage over there.
Yeah, the cover sucks, but fill us in a little bit because I was following it the best I could, and I knew it was tight. Going to that last day, to me it looked like anybody in the top 8 had a legitimate shot to win. Pick it up from there. Pick it up from your day 2 ended before you start at day 3. Where was your mind at? What was your mindset?
Well, at that point, I felt like I had a real good shot to win. So to get to that, I kind of need to start from the very beginning. And the beginning is I didn't even sign up for that tournament till last week. I had fished all the other opens, and it's not because I thought I was going to catch them. I just fished all the other ones, and I decided to kind of finish what I started.
Yeah.
And I was itching to go fish one more tournament before deer season gets here. So I called and signed up, and since I had missed the priority date, I had to have a co-angler, so I paid my dad's entry fee so he would be able to go. We could both just go fish, and it'd be a week for us to go do something. And so I get down there and go practice, and last year I won the Cup in August, and then I won a VFL Super Tournament in September. When it gets really hot, it gets tough. If you can ever get a little deal figured out, you can really make some magic happen.
Yeah.
So I just felt like there was a chance that I may could go fish offshore, fish like I like, and do well at Logan Martin. So signed up and go down there and practice. Well, the first day of practice I'm there, it's like I go Monday at lunch. I idled around in an area. I'd been to Logan once or twice fishing some Alabama Bass Trail tournaments a few years ago. So I went to a part of the lake. I felt like I could find some schools, and I found some. But dude, they were like babies, 10 inchers, 12
line
inchers.
burners.
And you could catch them, line burners.
Yeah.
You could catch them till you was tired of catching them, but I couldn't catch a good one. And so I went down the lake the next day and looked in brush piles. I wasn't seeing any fish in brush, and I'm just fighting this whole getting on the bank thing as much as I can. And so the last day of practice, I ended up going to the bank and caught some little better fish, nothing that I was going to win with, and caught one good one way up the river in a pocket on a frog. So start the morning of the tournament, I am on nothing. If I could have got my money back, I'd have went home.
That's awesome.
And so I decided just to start on one of those schools and at least catch 7 or 8 pounds, to get my day started. And as I was running up there, I was thinking back on it, and one of those Alabama Bass Trails, the part that kind of clued me into, definitely going to look in that area, is I had found 2 schools in that tournament up there. And when I got there the morning of the tournament, kind of the same situation. I wasn't catching much. I just went and started up there anyways. They were a little bigger in the mornings. Like we caught 2 3-pounders and some 2-pounders and had a decent start to that tournament. And it was kind of unexpected. And I thought, well, maybe first thing in the morning, because these fish are like 6 or 7 foot deep. They're on some little shallow bars, and I thought maybe just some better ones are out there in the morning. It's kind of a morning deal. When I pull up, like my first cast, I catch a 3-pounder and catch a few more, and I end up having about 10 pounds to start the tournament, which was a complete shock. I thought I was about to 7-pound it for 2 days and go to the house.
Yeah.
So I messed around there for a little while, and about 11:30, I run up the river and start running some pockets, trying to catch a big one on a frog. And I noticed the water was on, and which was kind of a rookie mistake of mine. I should have checked to see when the water was going to come on. I just didn't think about it. I noticed it was running, and I came out of a pocket and was idling out, and I noticed on my Lake Master there was a rock pile out in the middle of the lake. And so I thought, well, heck, it's not real deep up here. It's only like 15 foot deep. I'm going to go out there and just idle over it. The water's running, and dude, I idled over it. They're just blowed up on it.
Wow.
So, heck, so I turned around, spot locked, fire a Berkeley rib shad out there, and first cast. Don't catch like a 2.5-pounder. And I sit there and catch 180 to 2-pounders until I started catching them, give me, right at 12 pounds.
Wow.
And I was an early number the first day, so I didn't have long. I sat there for about 30 minutes and caught what I could and went on back down the lake to go to weigh in. So I get home that night, and I sit down and look through my Lake Master chip, and I find like 7 or 8 more places that looks like could be some potential.
Yeah.
I used to work for Lake Master, and we did surveying for them. So I know when I would run over rock, I used to remember running over rock and stuff in northern lakes, and then go back, and when I would generate the contour lines, I remembered what it looked like. It'll make the bottom look a little funny, and that's just that depth changing.
Yeah.
So I started looking on there and found all the places that looked like they probably had rock. And second day, I started on a shallow school and caught 12 pounds, which was way better than 7. So obviously it was starting to dawn on me that's a deal. Those better ones are there early.
Yeah.
And then as the day goes on, they go on about, doing whatever they do. But early in the morning, you can capitalize. So started out, catch like 12 pounds off a shallow school. Water's supposed to come on at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, I head up the river and just start graphing. I'd run up the river until I saw water moving, around a lay down or whatever else. And at that point, I just started getting to the nearest place that had rock and looking. And I found like 5 or 6 schools that day and caught the piss out of them. And so to answer all that gets back to your question. Going into day 3, I felt good about it.
Wow.
It was kind of lining up. Mark had a great lead, and Mark's a great fisherman. He's a good friend of mine. But fishing where he was and everything, I've been there enough. I knew he was kind of due to have a mediocre day. He had 2 really good ones.
Yeah.
And the chances were good for him to have a kind of a mediocre day on day 3. So if I could capitalize, I felt like I might could pull it off. Because on the first day, the water ran like it was supposed to. And those guys fishing at the dam, Dustin had 15 pounds the first day, but he caught 2 big largemouth. Everybody else that was really good up there had like 12 or 13 pounds. Yeah. And I was tied or beating a lot of those guys going into day 3. So I felt like if I could catch over 13, I'd at least have a shot to beat all them too. So I don't know. I did. I felt really good about it. There's a little side story that a lot of people don't know. At the second day, when the water come on, there was 2 guys catfishing at the dam up against it in a little john boat.
Yeah.
And the water on it capsized it.
Wow.
And so they had to cut the water back off, which, it's not an instantaneous thing. So there wasn't but like 20 minutes of water flow, and nobody at the dam caught them on that. Well, I just happened to be in the part of the river where the water had started moving, found a school and caught them.
Right.
And I noticed it was slacking off. And I was like, well, crap, that ain't no good. So I cranked up and run down the river.
You caught
and found
back
it
up with
moving
it
again. So I actually got 2 hours of water flow where everybody that was waiting on it at the dam got 20 minutes.
How about that?
That's why I caught that good bag the second day was I had more flow than everybody else.
How about that? All right, there you have it, guys. If you're watching, the fellows that were capsized, and I saw the one guy. He was an older fellow, but he's a fan of Ike Live. If you're watching right now, you can collect your 20% from Justin Atkins right now for cutting that water off for everybody.
I'm glad those boys are okay. That's a scary thing, but that played into my favor a lot, because if those guys fishing at the dam had 4 or 5 hours of water flow on day 2, like they had on day 1, they would have caught 12, 13, 14 pounds again, and I'd have been chasing a lot of them by 2 or 3 pounds instead of just one guy.
Wow, how about that? When it's supposed to happen, it's going to happen. I want to jump in, Pete, and I know you got a question, but I want to say so many times I talk to champions and like what happened to you, Justin, and you find it as it's happening, right? You know what I mean? You didn't go there and practice for 2 weeks and have 2,000 waypoints. You were pretty wide open, and you figured it out as the tournament was going. You were progressing with the event, not letting it go away from you. And I hear that so much, Pete, in winners, and it's amazing to me how guys can fish the moment like that so free, and that's an amazing thing to do.
I think a big piece of advice is in all your tournaments, don't enter until the day before the tournament starts.
That's right. That's right. Enter late and have a Lake Master chip, and you're good.
That's Pete's MO. Don't feed it.
Works.
I've said that
90% of the time, all the time.
To practice a bunch and catch them really good the first day of practice, and then as practice and the tournament progresses, I feel like it gets worse and worse, and that's when you're not just fishing free. You're not being open-minded.
Yeah.
It's easy to say that that's what you need to do, but that's a hard thing to do as a professional fisherman. And sometimes the best thing to happen is to have a terrible practice and just kind of go fishing and let them tell you what you need to know.
Well,
that's awesome.
On Saturday, typically they cut the faucet off. Did that happen on Saturday?
I think that's really just a Tennessee River thing. The Coosa runs pretty daily. It doesn't generate, I think, as much power as a Tennessee River dam, and so they kind of run it every single day. And no, it was projected to come on at 10 o'clock Saturday, which was earlier than it had been all week. So Saturday morning, I run to first place. I thought that was going to be good. Didn't catch anything. Get hung up like 10 times. Break my leader. Break off 10 different shaky heads. I mean, for the first 30 minutes, I was re-rigging rods again, and I thought this is about a typical Saturday, championship day for me. And go to the next spot. We had worked on those really hard, and several guys were sharing them with me, and I couldn't get them to bite. So it's like 9 o'clock. I got an hour before the water's going to come on, and I felt confident I would catch them once the water came on up the river. I mean, that catching 5 was not the issue. Heck, I caught 5 off the first spot. It just wasn't any good. They weren't like 6 pounds worth. So I just sat down and cranked up. And so the way that lake kind of lays out is there's probably like 10 or 12 schools that get out in this general 5-mile section of lake. But there's like 60 places they could get that set up good.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got to chase them around. They don't get on the same waypoint every day. So I sat down and start looking, and like 300 yards from where I caught them the day before, I found a blowed up little wad of them, and I probably caught 30 with Ronnie Moore sitting there taking pictures and had like 10 pounds. Looked down at my watch, it was 10 o'clock. I said, well, we've got what we came for. We're back on track now. And I ended up weighing in a fish every day that I caught early in the morning on one of the shallow places.
Wow.
So I caught like a 2.5 pounder out of that little school I found when I finally just went looking again, and then, roll up the river. And I don't know, it's like you said, when it's meant to be, you can't hardly mess it up if you try.
And it's crazy, isn't it? It always works that way. It's just like you can't stop it. You know?
It's a freight train.
It is
out of control.
It is. Now,
you just gotta show up.
It just got to show up. Now, just talk a little bit. I know you just mentioned it, but I noticed in a lot of the stuff that Ronnie shot and a lot of the pictures that I saw spinning rod. You mentioned shaky head. Talk a little bit about what were some of them key baits for those fish that you were fishing off the bank.
So basically, early in the morning when there wasn't any water running, I noticed a lot of guys I was sharing these places with would pull up, and I would see them steady winding, and obviously they were catching a few fish because they were fishing there. They knew they were there, and they had caught some of them. But when I would find them, since I was 12 years old, I've thrown a spot remover shaky head, and I was throwing a Berkeley bottom hopper, 6 1/4 inch, just a black worm. I'd pull up on them, and you throw it out there, and you would feel why the fish were there. There was a little rock, little bottom change. You could tell whenever your bait was getting around where you were about to get a bite.
Yeah.
And when it would get out there, and I would get, in that little rocky spot, or I knew it was getting really close, I would just let it sit out there. And it was kind of funny. I had a guy yesterday sitting in a pontoon boat watching me fish, and after about the 10th one I caught, he said, "You have the best touch I've ever seen with a spinning rod." I said he hasn't. I said you haven't watched Michael Iaconelli yet. But you would just, I would just kind of get it down there at the spot, and I would just hold it, and it may sit there 15 seconds. I'd shake it a little, but curiosity kills the cat on a bass. Yeah. And there's a bunch of them out there. There's something that gets around them. They can't stand it, So it may be 15 seconds. It sat out there, and all of a sudden it just be thunk, and I'd catch one every cast. And once you really got them going, it was, it wasn't that hard to catch them. You could start speeding your retrieve up, but that was really a deal. It was just kind of finessing them a little bit, getting that shaky head out. A lot of guys I think were trying to throw a crankbait, throw a swim bait, whatever, and kind of power fish them and trying to rotate through them real hard. And I would just get out there in them and then make the best out of kind of what I had, because you would see when you'd scan them, a lot of them were little, but you'd have 10 dots mixed in that were definitely better sized fish.
Right.
And I wasn't looking but for 1 or 2 of them, to bite. So I would sit out there and just kind of make the best of what I had. And that spinning rod is nothing but a sniper rifle, man. That thing catches them.
Absolutely.
Well, we watched Thousand Islands, the elite deal, and the Berkeley flatworm was the deal.
Yep.
Berkeley got them for you. Is it? Do you think like the smallmouth or spotted bass are similar to the smallmouth that way, where scent plays such an important role in fishing for them?
I think it is. Spots remind me a lot of smallmouth. The difference in a Coosa River spot, because a lot of those shallow fish I was catching were largemouth down the lake, but when you got up the river, those fish were all spotted bass, and it was so crazy how you wouldn't see them until the water came on, and they would all just appear. But to get back to your question, I think a spotted bass he's a real scent oriented. He likes to see, he's a chaser. Smallmouth are big sight feeders, or a goofy largemouth. They'll get in some dirty water and sit by a rock until something hits him in the face, and or a stump or whatever. But I think a spot likes a clear water situation. He likes to have his bait coming to him. And definitely if you ever got in a situation where they weren't pulling any water and you had a place that had some spots on it, I definitely would have whooped out a max scent bait and let them have it.
That's good stuff. Let me remind everybody watching, if you've got a question or comment for Justin or anything we're talking about, please hit us up on our IM. Also, you could ask a question on the Ike Live social pages, at Ike Live Show, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I've got one right here on Facebook for you, Justin. This one is from Jeffrey Hippert from New York. shout out to Jeff. Jeff wants to know, he's fishing a spotted bass lake that has blueback herring in it in a few weeks. I guess that would be early fall, late summer period. Any suggestions for Jeff on what he needs to do?
He needs to get some chrome Berkeley cane walkers and get ready to go throw at schoolers, because I promise you, when that water starts cooling off, they're going to be chasing bait, and they'll be schooling, whether it's over cover. He may be able to call them up out of brush or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure what the lake's going to have, but I can promise you he'll be able to catch them on top. Those herring fish like to eat on the surface, and especially when it starts cooling off. It's not going to be long. You know, Smith Lake's going to be turning on. You'll be catching a lot on top, and I'm kind of jealous. I wish I was going with him.
Now, the Berkeley bait you're talking about, I'm assuming it's a pencil popper style bait?
Yeah, it's their new pencil popper style bait, and it's really awesome. You can cast it a mile, spits good, it's loud. It'll call those spots up out of deep water. And when they get to feeding on this big herring on top, it makes a lot of commotion. And so that would definitely be what I'd have tied on the end of my rod.
That's awesome. Eric,
probably be on a Ike Delay series 7.3 medium heavy.
Yeah, like that. It's a parabolic.
I'm imagining Jeffrey's talking about fishing the Costa Championship.
He's got to be. He's got to be. I don't know where that's at, but
that's on Gunnersville. It's not going to happen.
Oh no, it's not Gunnersville. Something else. It's got to be something else. Eric, the intern, what do we got? You got anything coming through the IM?
Well, the MLF buzz is still strong at this point.
Okay.
So I want to know, Justin, do you have a take on all this? What's going on? The whole MLF controversy? Do you have an opinion about it?
Good question.
I think competition and change is always good. So, I'll leave it at that. I think that competition in business is always good, and it'll be good to have another venue for. Here's the thing, and a guy told me this the other day, and it made a lot of sense. High school fishing and college fishing has grown this sport bigger than it's ever been. There's more people, and for all these years, there's only been 2 tunnels for all these people to try to make it through, and I think it'll be good to have another option for opening up the world of professional fishing.
Yeah. It's a good one. Eric?
Yeah, and then one more from Michael. How do you feel your chances are in Knoxville? Can you become the first angler to win a cup and the Classic?
Well, problem is I wouldn't be the first one to win the cup and the Classic. I think Luke Clausen did it in the same year, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he did.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Dion Hibden's got them both.
Dion has them both.
The guy asking the question almost won a prize.
He almost won a prize, except he was totally wrong.
Except for he was wrong.
The only deal is they don't have the win you're in anymore with the Opens. I still have to go and do well at the championship, but I'll fish a 28-boat derby for the Classic any day.
That's pretty good odds right there.
Where is the Open Championship?
Going to be on Table Rock at the end of October. So.
Ooh. Wow. That's an interesting time. Generally fall.
That should be one that'll kind of level the playing field, I feel like.
Yeah, fall is generally tough on Table Rock.
But they do have some nice spotted bass out there.
And there's good spot, and there's all 3 of them. There's brownies too.
Mm-hmm.
And like if there's a 100-boat tournament on Table Rock in October, 99 of the guys have a whopper plopper tied on.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Thank you, James Watson.
I know. I do want to jump back a little bit. I know, not even regarding just MLF, but we were talking a little earlier, Justin, about the state of the sport, and you're a bit of an anomaly because you've got a lot of talent, you've got the ability to promote. You're a great spokesperson for your sponsors. So you're a bit of an anomaly, but what's your honest opinion of the state of the sport? Because there are a lot of guys out there struggling. You're a full-time touring pro. You know as well as we know that half the field is struggling. They're having a hard time making a living. They end up, December 31st comes and they're in the hole.
Yeah.
That needs to change, right?
Yeah, I agree with I'm blessed beyond belief to have had the year I had last year, because I look back on it and I think if I hadn't absolutely caught the piss out of them, I don't know that I could have done it another year.
Right.
I mean, it's so hard, and there's so many people doing it nowadays. It's, that the sponsorship dollars just, aren't there for the guy that wants to get in and go give it a shot.
Yeah.
And man, it's hard. And to be a true professional and be a true professional sport, it shouldn't be that hard to make a living.
Agreed.
There's a lot of guys out there that are really good at it, and at the end of the year they've made about $30,000, and you can do a lot of things with a college degree, and go make $30,000 and not be away from your family 6 months out of the year. So the sport is as big as it's ever been, but it's also as hard as it's ever been. Competition's really tough, and that drive to to get some money and some support and some help it's tough. I've been very blessed to have some great sponsors, and 15 topwater bites changed my life for sure.
Yeah.
And had I not gotten them, this may have been a real short-lived dream for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Winning the big prize.
Yeah. It's tough to do.
But it is tough to do, but you remember the days when winning that same prize was $1 million.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's worth a lot more.
And that's something that I I don't understand, and not to get too political or step on any toes, but I don't understand how the sport gets bigger and our payouts keep getting smaller.
It's called,
like I said, that's
easy. That's easy to understand.
It's called greedy. It's called greed.
Caught in any one direction, but it's that bothers me a little bit. And I've only been doing it for 2 years, and I can see it, plain as a neon sign in the dark. Yeah. But it's I don't know. That one bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, and I think it's going to happen at some point, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's 5 years from now. The organizations, we're the employees of the organizations, right? We're the reason that people come. We're the reason people watch. We're the reason people buy. And at some point, if your employees aren't happy, right? If your employees are treated bad and aren't treated fairly, your employees, you want to find a new job, right? Or you want to stand up and organize. You want to, I think that's got to happen.
Me and Eric are forming a union.
Here's something that bothers me with it is, my sponsors spend a lot of money to have me out there supporting them, and I don't think it's fair to them, for that to be the only way I'm making a living, because when I do get a check, it's not, it's not what it should be. And for that part of the pool to keep drying up, not only is it not fair to me as a employee and as the customer to, organizations, it's not fair to my sponsors either.
Yeah.
Because that leads me to have to press them even harder just so I can make a living, and that's not fair for me to suck one well dry when I feel like there's a little more water in another one.
Yeah.
Before we shoot it over to you, E, to put it in perspective, the girl that beat Serena Williams yesterday won $3.8 million.
Oh,
wow! My God.
In the U.S. Open tennis match.
Wow.
Naomi Os.
I
don't remember her last.
It's crazy. I can't believe she beat Serena.
I just hope I get $38,000 for this scooter boat.
You won't. I hate selling boats. It's the worst thing.
Serena went Ike.
Did she? Was she mad?
Dude.
Did she break her racket?
Meltdown.
Did she kick her depth finder off the front deck of the boat? Oh, wait, they don't have boats in tennis.
She got accused of cheating. She busted her racket, and she called the umpire a thief.
Wow!
Which
that's just like me. I've done that to Trip Weldon a million times.
Trip, you thief.
Trip, you're a thief. I actually never did the trip. I did it to Bill Taylor once, but not Trip. Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's very,
well, I'm going to dig into this now after
controversial.
the show.
Oh,
really.
man. Yeah.
Well, Pete knows all about it.
It is a big deal.
Tennis.
I'm a tennis fan.
Wow.
Sports fan.
Yeah.
Eagles win. 18-12 over.
Eagles did win.
Don't try to validate your tennis love with an Eagles comment.
You're trying to dilute it.
I know who you are.
Justin, I got one more coming through on Instagram from you from Steve Savarsak. And I know you already kind of danced around MLF, but he wants to know, Justin, what are your plans for next year tournament-wise? What are you fishing next year?
Here's what's kind of interesting. The whole, the MLF thing, of course, it's exciting, and we've heard a lot of buzz about it. I'm not going to go into any detail about that, but if that opportunity opens itself, I'm going to give it a really, an honest and heartfelt thought about it. And but if not, this whole Table Rock tournament could lead me to an Elite Series berth. If I was to get one of those, I would, give that a really deep thought. And other than that, definitely the FLW tour again. I've enjoyed fishing the tour. It's been a great experience. I've got a lot of great friends over there. The competition's good. I've learned a lot. We travel, to some diverse places, whether it be, Beaver Lake or Okeechobee. And I know people say we go, kind of the same places year in, year out, but I flip one tournament and spin and rod the next, just like anybody else. And I've learned a lot doing it. So I may end up with 3 options, and I'll just have to do a little praying, a little soul searching, figure out where I want to be.
Yeah.
And depending on how this Table Rock tournament goes, I may be soul searching on whether it's Bass or FLW next year. So to answer that question, I don't really know.
Yeah.
We'll have some answers here in the next few weeks and go from there.
Yeah, that's a lot of options, but it's all good, right? I mean, there are
All
three.
good, man. It's like I said,
they're all good options.
In anything in business, man, it's good for there to be a little competition. So I think there being 3 organizations will be a great thing for the sport.
Let me ask you this: if all 3 were to somehow cohese with each other and not schedule on top of each other, would you ever in your right mind consider fishing all 3 if that was physically possible?
I would definitely think about it. I would definitely fish 2. If I could fish 2, I would. There's no question I would do that.
Yeah.
Man, I love fishing and I love tournament fishing, and that's how I make my living. I would definitely fish 2. If I could pull off fishing all 3, I would at least try it one year. I'd have to just say.
Wow.
I may hate myself in the morning, but I would have to.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Do it while you can.
Yeah, do it while you can. I did it for a few years back when FLW and Bass.
You doubled it.
I did. I did it for I want to say 3 years, and it was tough. But I was in a different place back then.
Before you had gray ball hair.
Yeah, that's right. It was before I had gray ball hair.
Yeah.
It was before I was balding. It was before I had 4 kids. Yeah, it was a long time ago. That's right. It was in shape. A lot of things changed. Yeah. Justin, before we let you go, there's a lot of people watching that are saying, man, well, I want to follow Justin around. I want to see what he's doing. How can they follow you? What's your social handle? Where can they follow you on the web? How can they keep track of you?
I got a Facebook fan page. It's just Justin Atkins. And then on Instagram and Twitter, it's Justin Atkins Fishing. And I try to keep them interesting, try to keep some up-to-date content, but not wear everybody out with the same old boring thing. So, if you can go give me a follow, I'd appreciate it, and we'll see where we end up next year and go from there.
Well, I tell you, I have a feeling everything will work out, and it always does. And man, we wish you a lot. We wish you a lot of luck at Table Rock.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go down there and tie on a whopper plopper like the other 99 guys, and you'll have a good tournament.
You staying at Watson's?
Yeah, you staying at Watson's like everybody else?
Yeah, I called him earlier and told him I wanted to reserve rooms he has in the
house. Tell
him
to change the hot tub water.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, just don't get in the hot tub. Yeah, that could.
I'm gonna stay out of the hot tub.
A lot of guys have rashes and they're dripping stuff after that. So, man, Justin, thank you for joining us, and congrats on the recent win, man.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
You got it, Justin Atkins, everybody.
Well done.
Man, I'll tell you, to be young again, Pete. You know what I'm saying?
It's 3 tournaments, 50 weeks on the road.
It's true, though.
I can do it.
Dude, I look at Eric, and Eric is a great example, right? Like, a lot of energy. You know what I mean? Like, I look at Polinick. I look at, all these younger guys out here, Chad Pipkins. And these guys just, dude, they'll fish a tournament. They'll drive to where the next elite's at before it cuts off.
Yep.
They practice until it cuts off. They go to the next tournament. They fish that tournament. They go to the next place and practice until it cuts off. And they do that the whole year.
That's what you used to do.
Why didn't you used to do it like that? I used to put some practice time in. Not like that, but I put some practice time in. But not like that. But Jacob Wheeler, I mean, all these young guys, to have that energy and to have that time to do that. It's awesome. I shout out to those guys for being able to do that.
Well, and it's cool. I mean, you feel a lot of pressure. Those guys, especially the younger guys. I mean, they got to compete against guys like you that've been out there for a long time, and Kevin. And I think in order to get that competitive edge, you got to put in the extra time. I tell you, Jacob Wheeler, I liked it. The what he said about it the best is like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to fish professionally, you got to practice.
Yeah.
And you got to put your time in.
Like any other sport, right?
Any other sport.
Football, baseball, tennis. We're just talking about tennis.
Yeah.
They practice every fucking day.
They're practicing nonstop, 4 hours a day, more every day. You look at, football, they have the off-season stuff. Even college football players, it's 12 months a year.
Oh, yeah.
They're going through weight training.
Yeah.
Then they're doing all the other components of just, practicing. It's a 12-month-a-year commitment to be just in college, much less the pros. So I like that mentality. But, boy, is it hard to maintain, once you get a little bit up, once you start getting a family and everything starts changing a little bit.
It's crazy.
Okay, while we're at that, our boy Jim Miller fought last night in Dallas. Jim holds the record. He now holds the UFC record for most fights.
Yeah. Attaboy.
You're kidding me.
Just had his 30th fight in the
Shout out Jim.
Shout out to Jim Miller. Congrats, man.
And
nice record.
Yeah, I was in New York, so I didn't get to watch the fight, but caught the highlights, and he steamrolled the dude. Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
That's
win.
freaking awesome. Yeah. Very nice.
Shout
out to Jim
wow.
Miller.
30th fight UFC record, man.
Well, there's I was going to give a little personal shout out to Jim because I fished with him in the Ike Foundation tournament, and I was going to tell him that, I'll get that thermos mailed back to you, but now that you have the record, I'm keeping that thermos.
I would. I'd actually mail it back to him and have him sign it, and then ask them for it back. So you have the signed thermos.
Perfect.
Caleb Summerall on the instant message board says, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Pete knows what a fudge round is. Sorry about that, Pete. That was from the last show. You weren't here.
Oh, yeah. Caleb was you last show, right? Caleb was there.
He was.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot.
Sorry about that, Pete.
Yeah. You were Caleb, and Caleb was you.
What's a fudge round?
It's like a little honey bun, little Debbie kind of chocolate. Like, it's good.
It's a snacky cake.
Caleb was freaking out over him.
Snack cake. Brian Carpenter. Here's
thank you for that, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Caleb. Shout out to Caleb. Here's what we're gonna do, Brian Carpenter. We're gonna take a break. Yep. Okay. When we come back, I want to talk about Iceland a little bit. We're gonna get Becky down here. We're gonna talk about Iceland.
Yeah.
We're gonna do MTB unboxing.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the troll jacket, which is a really cool product. Then we're gonna open up the phone lines.
Yes.
Really cool. The last 15,
right
20.
Off the bat.
Yeah, we'll open them up. Last segment of the show, we'll open up the phone lines. If you've got a question, comment on anything you heard tonight, chime in. And if it's a good call, Brian Carpenter, let's give some stuff away.
Yeah,
man.
let's give him the troll jacket.
Let's give him the troll jacket. Let's give him Terry Scroggins' head.
Terry Scroggins' head. You can win it.
You can win Terry Scroggins' head.
You could win Pete's fudge round.
You could win.
No, I ain't giving that up.
No, he's not giving that up. It's been a great show so far. Ken Duke, Justin Atkins, hang in there with us. Last segment, when we come back, is the most exciting segment. Hang in there. Ike Live.
Hey, Noah Wheeler here with Real Snot. Been out on this pond for about an hour now. Haven't had a whole lot of luck. We've had a couple blow-ups, but not getting a lot. So we thought we would try the new Java product on this frog on the top water. It works great on jigs and other plastics, but we've noticed that when we do use it on top water, we get a trail in the water, the scent's in the water, and we're getting a lot more bites. So we're gonna spray some Java all over the frog. Apply some reel knot to the braid, get it nice and wet, and then as I reel it in, it's gonna work its way through it. Okay, so now we got that scent in the water, and then we got the frog all juiced up with some reel snot Java. Let's see what happens here. There's one. There's one. So as you can see, that scent got around in this little area, this little pocket we're fishing, and sure enough, one came up and nailed it. Small one, albeit, but hadn't caught anything since we've been here for about an hour and 10 minutes now. There's one. That's a good one too. That's a good one. Much better. Good little guy. Threw my frog. Man, they love this stuff. Right through the nose.
This time of year, I definitely recommend putting a little bit of this on your soft plastics too. There he is. Another one. Next cast. And that would be number 6. I'm addicted. I'll admit it. I'm straight addicted.
Might be bigger.
You think so?
Yeah. Feels bigger. I haven't even seen this thing yet. It doesn't want to come up. Don't break me off the rocks.
Oh, it's a...
Oh! 27-incher.
He caught it.
28.
Oh my god, that's such a healthy fish. Look at this size.
Put a little liquid mayhem on your crappie jig, and look where the stripers get it.
You can't even see it, man.
That might be a keeper.
Four and a half inch drop shot worm, Bama bug. Finesse jig, PB&J, give me something hard. Hey, KVD here. Now, I didn't always know this much about fishing. 4-aught EWG worm hook. In fact, there was a time when I couldn't tell the difference between a jerkbait and a stickbait. But then I signed up for Mystery Tackle Box, the original monthly tackle subscription. And now I know more about fishing than I do about calculus.
And he knows a lot about calculus.
Plus, I get amazing extras like free fishing magazines. October 2016, featured article, 4 places to throw a frog. Exclusive decals, zombie bass. And how-to videos for all the great baits I receive. How to tune a crankbait. Is that underwater footage I smell?
I got goosebumps.
So if you're looking to develop enhanced fishing abilities like me, or you just like getting new tackle every month, go to mysterytacklebox.com and get your box today. Ooh, live minnows. Is it lunchtime already? Nature's candy. Oh. Is he in my pocket?
IKE, we are live.
Folks at home, welcome back to Ike Live. Thank you for hanging in there with us. You're watching a brand new Ike Live show on this glorious Sunday evening. We've heard from some great guests tonight, including the Bass. What would you call him? What would Ken's title be? The Bass
Swami.
Encyclopedia.
He's a Swami, the encyclopedia of all things bass.
Yeah, Encyclopedia of all things bass. Ken Duke joined us.
Yeah,
and we just heard from Justin Atkins.
Hey Pete, we're doing a live show right now.
It's all right. He doesn't worry. Nobody worries. It's been a great show. Let me remind everybody watching, this is a really cool part of the show. This is the third segment. And Brian the Carpenter is going to put up a toll-free number on the screen here in a second. And we're going to leave these lines open the entire third segment. If you've got a question or comment, you could IM them. But if you want to call in and if you want to talk to us about anything you heard tonight, please, man, we want to hear from you. We're also going to be doing a MTB unboxing, and we're going to be reviewing a really cool TH product called the Troll Jacket. here in a second. But before we do that, Brian DeCarpenter.
Yeah. All right, back.
I do want to catch up on a few things. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about a lot of catch up. But I would like to talk about a recent trip that we had, Pete Klusick, to Iceland with Miss Rebecca. Miss Rebecca joined us on the casting couch. Back. How you doing tonight?
I'm good.
Who you wearing tonight?
I have on my Free People sweatshirt.
Free People sweatshirt.
I'm in comfy mode.
And you want to name those sweatpants or just going to let them ride?
Let them ride.
Boom, boom.
Let me ride. We a viewer of the show. Who's that from?
Oh, I don't know. I gotta look it up.
A viewer of the show.
That what? Wait, was it? Yeah, it was Kane.
Yeah, Kane Simpson. You know Kane?
I love Kane.
From Instagram fame.
Yes.
Kane sent us in this fine work.
Pete's a sloth. Look at that.
I'm three-toed, bitches.
Wow.
That's a good-looking sloth.
You look good as a sloth, Pete. Look at that.
Poor Pete.
That furry body of yours.
I'm three-toed, bitches.
I'm three-toed, bitches.
Oh, my God. That's
Dude, I
amazing.
got to tell you, Kane Simpson, the best. Dude, the best stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
Besides, Eric's doing some great stuff.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But his stuff is
No, I'm
insane.
giving it to
I
Kane.
love it.
Yeah.
I laugh every time I see his
I think
stuff.
his work has room for improvement.
That's funny. Now, Beck, I'm glad you joined us on the casting couch because I wanted to review a little bit of Iceland, give people a glimpse of the trip.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to have you here to talk about it a little bit. We didn't see any sloths there, but it was incredible. Incredible. Let me start off with this. Brian DeCarpenter, I don't know if you realize this.
Yes.
What an easy trip this is. Because we've taken some long trips. We went to Alaska. We've taken some long trips before. I got to tell you, Pete, you get on a flight in Philadelphia, and in 5.5 hours you land in Reykjavik. You're in Iceland in 5.5 hours.
What?
Direct. It's that easy. I think a lot of people, like even me, I think I had built up like Iceland. Oh my God, it's going to be 15 hours. You're going to have connections.
Get a float plane in.
Yeah.
Then we got to get on snowmobiles.
Dude, so easy
Straight in.
to get there.
Yeah.
Right, Beck?
Yes.
Super easy to get there.
Do you know why?
No.
Because tourism is now the #1 revenue source in Iceland.
I did know that. Do you know what used to be the number one?
Ice.
No?
Sheep?
Aluminium. That's right. I said it right that time.
Yeah, you did.
And before aluminium, #1 export, #1 business?
Lambs.
No? No?
Ice.
No? Herring. Fish.
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Herring.
Yep.
How about that?
Salted fish.
That's right. It's very interesting. Iceland, I tell you, it's. I can't. I'm almost speechless. How amazing the country was. How amazing the trip was. Reykjavik was cool. It's a really. How would you describe that city? It's a clean city. It's
hold
very
on for
manageable.
a second.
Yes.
You can't say aluminum, and you can say the name of that city?
Yep, Reykjavik.
Yeah, but who's saying he's saying
not
it right?
saying it completely right.
Whatever.
We're just letting him
Whatever.
slide.
Hurrahs. Whatever. I'm going to the casino. Hurrahs after this. Okay.
Well, we don't know what Reykjavik's how to say.
Okay,
so.
that would explain.
All right.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Y'all.
It's like a Dutch city. You feel like a bit
Yeah.
like you're in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
It's very.
So Reykjavik's a very clean, modern city. It's nice. It's small. It's manageable. There aren't a million people walking around. It's a really cool city, and I enjoyed our time there. We had 1 day there, but then from Reykjavik we took just a real short flight, like a 40-minute flight, to.
What was the airport like?
The airport. Oh my
Okay,
God.
so here's no.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. So
You got to hear about this. Yes.
you have to fly into the international airport.
Yeah.
These are two different airports.
Right.
Only international flights come in and out of the international airport. So I believe it was after World War II, the U.S. gave Iceland their military base. They gifted it to Iceland.
Here, have your land back.
Have your land back.
Have your
Kind
land
of
back,
them.
bitches.
Right. But that became the international airport because the runways were long enough to handle the big international planes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Then, if you choose to go domestically to anywhere else in Iceland,
Yeah.
you have to travel 45 minutes. It's right. It was downtown Reykjavik.
Yeah, Reykjavik. Yeah.
But there's a domestic airport, and that's where you fly to the different cities.
And so
within
this
Iceland.
airport, Bri, I swear to God, this is how it happened. So we get there, and we're get there like an hour and a half before. Like we don't even know.
Right,
Just
yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
There's gonna be security, We get there, and like we're looking around, and there's like there's like a counter, and then there's like the gate right next to it. I'm looking around. I'm very confused, man.
Yeah.
It's like one room.
Yeah.
Where's
like,
all the bullshit at?
Yeah. Like I literally go up there, and they don't even want to see our passports. They're just like name, whatever. All right, how many bags you got? Here. All right, there you go. There's your gate. And I'm like, what? It was the weirdest
And the same
thing,
chick
man.
who took your bags.
Flew the plane.
What was the point of it? Then she
Yeah.
took your ticket 2 seconds later at the door. Like, okay, yeah, and you just walk outside and get on the plane.
Was she also the official at your wedding?
No. But I have to tell you, we learned our lesson so that when we flew back to Reykjavik from IKE, slaughter that, sorry. We showed up 15 minutes before the flight.
Yeah.
No
the return
kidding.
flight
15
back,
minutes.
yeah. That was it. We were good.
We were good.
Wow.
We walked up, handed the bags, they printed out a ticket, we handed it right back to her 2 seconds later, and
Yeah. So anyway,
went.
we take that flight and we went to the Troll Peninsula, the northern, well, I guess it would be a little northeast, but the northern shore of the island of Iceland. The best way I can describe it, it's and we talked about it. I think it was off camera. It's like Brian the Carpenter. It's like reminds me a little bit of Alaska, right? But it's like if you could imagine, Pennsylvania or upstate New York, a couple hundred years ago. That's the best way I can describe it, dude. Untouched. You know what I mean? Just
I think that's a horrible description.
no, it's not. Very few homes.
It was a horrible description. You gave no one a visual.
No, I did.
It
There's
seems
no
like the
trees. There's
frontier.
no trees. It
Okay.
is it is this like pristine, like green, like open pasture, open mountain ranges with water flowing everywhere, waterfalls, rock, like almost
Rainbows
like the
everywhere.
rainbows everywhere, permafrost, like the way the rocks like cracked open and then just water flows down, just waterfalls just kind of everywhere, and like sheep just popping around, like pristine, like you're walking places that someone has probably never
Sheep
stepped
and
foot.
hay everywhere.
There's no predators, so there's no snakes.
That's
there's no bears,
true.
There's no wolves, so you're free to roam.
You don't need
however
a
you
gun.
want.
You don't have to strap.
You
You
just
don't have to
go.
pack any heat.
No polar bears?
There's nothing. No, because if a polar bear ends up on Iceland, they have to.
The polar bears
Get
every
rid of
once in a while come over from
Right.
Greenland and the Arctic Circle on icebergs, and they come kind of drifting over. If they end up on the mainland, they just instantly get shot.
Yeah, they have.
Polar
to.
bears do.
They don't want to mess up the whole ecosystem of.
Yeah.
You know.
You saying
what they
something,
have.
Brian? I don't hear you. Oh,
But we were 20 miles from the Arctic Circle,
we were.
which you'd never know because it was 50 degrees, which is cooler than normal. Like they said, they didn't really get their summer. It was cooler than normal, but like it was 50 at night. It was 50 during the day.
Yeah.
Like it was just 50.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. To see glaciers still, up in the mountains.
See what?
Glaciers.
Now the coolest thing was it just kind of randomly rains like a drizzle.
Yeah, there's
all
a lot
the
of
time.
rain. There's a lot of rain.
But you can see it coming for miles. Like there's nothing to stop your view, so you just kind of see this rain coming.
No
You're like,
trees.
It's gonna get us.
And here's some of the food was outstanding. And I want to give you a little listing, Brian, of some of the weird food that we ate. And Eric, I want a nod from you on whether you would eat this or not. I want a yes or no. Okay. Here are the list of some of the items we ate. Number 1, fermented shark. A yes.
Oh God, don't! I wouldn't
Okay.
ever again.
Number
bad?
2.
It's awful.
Number 2, puffin.
The bird?
The bird.
The little
That
bird.
I'm a little shakier on.
Puffin.
A little shakier on puffin.
Maybe. So on puffin.
Yeah,
They're
so-so.
so cute.
They're
How
so
do you-
cute.
Yeah, exactly.
We just ate
That's
that
the
puffin
problem.
straight up.
I'm gonna visualize one while I'm eating it. Nah, it's not good.
Okay. Number 3, lamb. Lamb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd eat lamb.
Number 4, whale.
I'm gonna go with no.
No.
On that one. That sounds too
What kind of
blubbery.
whale?
I don't
You
know.
were
What kind of
willing to
whale
eat
was
the
it?
fermented shark
And not the
whale.
whale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the whale's a
whale
mammal.
is good.
There's not much logic behind that,
Yeah,
is
but
there?
fermented, it means it's just hung to
Oh, the
rot.
shark was fermented. The shark was just,
That's
it was
like how
rotted.
it's aged. It just hangs in a cage and just drips
Well,
the oil.
well,
and
now that you put it
rots.
like that.
Yeah. All right, and last.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it does sound good. Last but not least, and these are all foods, by the way, we actually did eat. Last but not least, reindeer meat.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
That sounds good.
It,
Yes,
it
that
was a
sounds
joke
great.
at the table that we were eating poor Dasher or Dancer.
Yeah, we did have reindeer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have reindeer. Yeah, food was outstanding. Food was
Amazing.
amazing. It's such a cool place, man. So we end up doing a lot of stuff. We did hiking. We did whale watching. We saw humpbacks. That was cool. We did our nuptials. We had a Viking marry us for the 10th time. That was nice.
A Viking?
Yeah, an actual Viking.
Yeah.
What's different about that?
He was what's different about what? The Viking?
The ceremony.
The ceremony?
Yeah.
It was
Did he-
all.
did
It
he
was
wear
in
the hat?
ice. He wore the hat. He had fur. He had a sword.
No, seriously.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yes, it was in
Yes.
Icelandic. Yes, it was so
Did you
cool.
post pics?
Oh yeah, no, we did. We posted one
Did we
pic,
post
but
one of Senya?
the Viking wasn't in there. No,
Why the hell would you not post
I don't know. We need to post
We
that.
need to post Senya.
Yeah, I want
We
to see
did.
a damn Viking.
Plus, shoot him a
With the
little love.
sword.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he hung with us for 3 days.
Yes.
He was the guy who was stuck with us.
Yeah.
Like you show up
Yeah,
at
so
this
we had
lodge,
we had
they're
a
like,
guide.
Here's
We
your
had
guide.
we had sort of a guide, like a full-time guy that took care of us, which was cool.
And that was the Viking?
That
With
was the
sword?
Viking. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of told him about the wedding.
Yep.
He got excited. He dressed up as a Viking, and
he kept us busy during the day. We drank with him at the bar at night. It was great.
That's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
good. And then I got, this is Ike Live, so I got to talk about this part of it. And it was one of the highlights of the trip for me, was the fishing. And it was.
I thought you were going to say the beer spa. It's Ike
No,
Live.
well, the beer spa was. Let's talk about that first. Talk a little bit about the beer spa. And this is a real thing.
This
because
is a-
you guys thought I was bullshitting
We
when
thought
I
it was
first
a joke.
said it. This is a real thing.
So you go to these places and you sit in a wooden tub, and it's filled with beer and hops. And,
So
and I
beer
guess
like
some
in the
sort of-
early stage. You know when beer's in that big
Yeah,
vat?
it's a wort. Yeah.
It's that beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they must have had some sort of oil because your skin was just amazing afterwards. It was nice and.
Or it could have
silky
been
smooth.
semen.
Are you drinking the bath water?
No, so you have a tap sitting right next to you.
Are you peeing in the bathwater?
No, God, who? No. So you
beer.
sit in warm beer,
Mm-hmm.
and you just have
The
your
tap
glass
is right
and the
there,
tap
dude.
right next to you, and you just fill it
Come
up.
on.
Right there.
And you drink it,
The
and
tap
you're
is
in
right
hot
there.
water, so your beer, when you get to the bottom, is a little warm. So you're like, and you just get a new one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So for like what, 45 minutes, you just
Oh,
try to
dude.
drink as much beer as you can.
Dude, it was great. But let me tell you, Brian, this is the best part of it. So we did the whole thing. We've been there for 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was, soaking and drinking, and we're having a great time. And then you hear they come by, because there's a time limit on it. So they come by and they knock on your door, and it's your time's up or whatever. We're like, cool. We're naked, so we get out and we put our robes on, and we get out, and like the spa person's like walks us out and like, would you like to go to the relaxation room? And I'm like, I look it back and I'm like, oh. Well, I'm like, what is it? Like, what's up there? It's upstairs. Like, what is it? What's up there? And she didn't really have an answer for it. I don't know if she spoke great English or whatever. She was like, you relax? I'm like, so I look it back and I'm like, well, fuck, we got to try this shit. Like,
relax.
Let's go relax. So I didn't know
relax my ass off.
I didn't know what we were getting into, So we're naked, we're in robes, and we're walking up the steps.
We're in robes. It's like
Yeah, but we're naked underneath. So we're walking up these steps, and we get to the top of the steps, and it's like real dark, but there's just a dim light so you could see what's going on.
What kind
And-
of steps, man? All wooden and everything?
Like, yeah, the wooden steps.
No,
going
it's
up.
carpeted.
Oh, was it carpeted?
It was carpeted
Yeah.
because everything was now plush.
Yeah, plush,
and
plush.
relaxing.
So you get up top of a step, and the lights are dim. You can barely see, and there's that spa music playing. You're just real relaxing, like shh, and it's just everything's calm. And we get up there and we look, and there's like couples like laying in like
Lounge chairs. Yeah.
chases all over the place. And there's like a couple here.
All in one room?
Yeah, all in one room, just sitting around together. And there's a couple there. There's a couple there. There's a couple there, and they walk us around, and we pass like 3 or 4 couples till we get to these 2 empty chairs, and she's just like, she puts her hands like, like lay, So
Wait,
like
what are the couples wearing? Robes?
robes.
No,
and
no. Well, so you lay down.
Yeah.
and they literally cocoon you
Yeah,
in
you
these
lay-
blankets. So now you're like
So you lay
cocooned.
down and then they papoose you in
Yes.
this blanket. And so now
So all you see are people's heads.
Yeah. So I'm laying like I already started. I could feel the crack. I could feel it building. So I fucking and it's calm and relaxing. It's dark, and now we're both cocooned and it's quiet. And I look over at Beck. She's laughing. I can't keep it together.
And we're those kids
Americans.
that can't stop. Like
Laughing.
you know how you're
It's
trying
horrible.
to stifle the laugh, but you can't. So you're both going. And we finally had to throw the covers
Dude,
up
I
and run
swear
back
we were
downstairs.
there
Like, I
for
gotta
5
go.
minutes. We couldn't
Not
stop.
even. It was
we
so
couldn't
bad.
stop laughing. We had to leave.
But like they just fed you beer. Like how do you relax after that?
What are you supposed to do besides?
That's it.
That's it.
That was it. You just relax.
Well, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that they have all over the place. They have all these hot tubs. They've like hot tubs everywhere. So I think most people come prepared in a bathing suit or whatever, and they love to have their hot tubs outside.
Yeah,
So the other option
yeah.
was you could go outside and get in the hot tub, but like that wasn't going to work for us. Like were we going to like flash everyone and get in naked?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Brian, I don't think they would let you in this place because after you were done all that, like if you wanted to get into the regular hot tub, you'd have to shower because they're real funny about that. So, one of the rules is you can't be overly hung because you embarrass the other guys right out of the room.
God, told you.
So they probably wouldn't even let you in there.
So anyway, the beer spa. So now we have to talk about we went fly fishing. We must discuss the fly fishing.
Oh yeah. So getting back to the fishing, the beer spa was great, but the fishing was it was pretty amazing. It's funny because like I had this vision of fishing in of trout fishing in Iceland as being like the easiest, like just giants at will.
It's easy.
It's
They're
easy,
everywhere.
and it was not like that, right? And the funny thing about it is, so here's me and Becky, and the place we stayed hooked us up with this guide, and he spoke English, but it was sort of broken, like it was okay.
Yeah, they all speak Icelandic.
Yeah, and I for a fact because we ended up asking him later in the day, like everyone he gets are seasoned fly anglers. You know what I mean? Like. The clients he gets are dudes that fly fish, chicks that fly. That's all they do, So we show up, dude, and we're like, we got fly gear that was given to us by one of the pure fishing companies.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Gear. I mean, it was ridiculously amazing gear.
Hardy rods and reels, Hardy rod and reels, and a Hodgman gear, waders and jackets. Thank you, Hodgman and Hardy. Amazing stuff, dude. I mean, like stuff that we should never own, right?
Yeah.
So he's still thinking like he sees us with this gear, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
these guys are good."
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And dude, we get out there, and I swear, dude,
so
dude,
bad.
Becky's hooking herself every other cast.
So
I'm
listen,
like, what
I've
do I do with this?
I have never gone fly fishing ever.
Yeah.
I have practiced casting in the backyard 2-3 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I got this. All right, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
poor man had to pull the
Yes.
hook out of my hat multiple times.
Yeah, but
And I
here-
kept telling him, I was like, you might want to stand back. I promise, I'll get better at this. And
Yeah.
you can see him. He's like, oh my.
But here's the silver lining, dude. He was really great. He was really great. He was really patient. And dude, we did get a lot better. It's like anything in fishing. Like as you just keep repetition. You know what I mean? But dude, I have a new appreciation for fly fishing. I swear, it's really difficult. Like I know sometimes fly guys we give them a hard time or whatever. Dude, extremely difficult to make the presentation in current. Like that was so key. And like the one big thing I know a lot of bass guys are watching, and this is interesting, Pete. In what we do most of the time, we're casting upstream, right? And like if we were going to Capelon Creek, Brian, we'd go.
Yep.
We'd have two cars. We'd park one up. We'd drive the other one down, and we would wade upstream the entire time. And we'd get to that pool, and we would cast with a spinning rod, with a night crawler or spinner. We'd cast up and let it drift. That's what you do in bass fishing too. But that wasn't the deal because of the way you had to present the fly. You couldn't keep contact right with the fly if you cast it upstream. So you're actually like you're casting parallel, like straight in front of you, and then letting it drift down till it gets dead down current, and then you strip it back, and then you make another presentation. And learning how to have the right amount of slack in that to let that fly or nymph or streamer drift down naturally, dude, very, very difficult. I'm telling you.
Becky, this doesn't sound complicated at all.
It was so hard.
It was so
hard.
It was so hard.
And not
It was so hard.
understanding like how the fly, like what it's doing in the water, like we're so used to knowing what like a crankbait or a plastic or what it does in the water. Like I don't understand what a fly is doing in the water. Like, and I don't understand what I'm trying to like get the fish to think is in the water.
Yeah,
like it's so
there's a little
confusing.
technique that he taught me called a mend. And a mend is, like once it starts getting down to where the current's pulling on the line, you like sort of like loop your rod and you put like a artificial loop of slack back into it and mend it, and it throws a little more slack and slows it down a little and keeps it natural. It was amazing learning experience, and we had nothing up until about like we had fished for 2 or 3 hours with nothing because we were around them and we couldn't present right. But then the last 2 or 3 hours, it started to come together, and we caught a few browns, we caught a few sea trout. I caught one, Becky caught one, and it made the trip.
Awesome. I saw the pics.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Cool.
Becky's was bigger.
It was bigger.
Yeah.
I tried to make mine look bigger, but I think
Yours
hers
was bigger.
I don't know.
No,
They were both nice ones. They were both nice ones.
It was fun, and then it was like, all right, we can go home now.
Yeah.
My arm was so tired.
Yeah.
I had been casting for like 8 hours straight. I
It was
can't
fun.
even feel my wrist. I'm like, I'm done.
It was fun. It was anyway. It was.
Did you keep them? Did you?
No, it was all that particular stream was all catch and release. It was all fly fishing only. They manage their fisheries very well there. It's extremely managed, which is great. But
You have to buy a permit for a certain pool.
Yeah.
With a rod, so
Yeah.
like you're literally buying a rod's worth for a pool.
Yeah.
The permits.
Extremely managed.
Yeah.
So what would be like in
Sounds
Jer-
like a lack of freedom.
Well, it's managed, and not every place is like that. But
Yeah.
but some of these world class streams are managed like that. So I totally get it. But if anybody's watching, real quick, and this is not a paid shout out, but if you want to go to Iceland, we stayed at an amazing place. It was great. If you want to check it out, it was called Deppler Farms. It was through an agency called 11 Experience. Give them a look, man. It was a trip of a lifetime. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was like the adult version of Disney. Like anything you wanted to do.
Anything you wanted to do. Yeah.
Mike said, "Can we walk on the roof?" They're like, "Yeah, we'll get you a ladder."
Yeah, the roof was a living roof.
Dude, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know about.
Oh yeah.
How was their grass? Talk to me.
I mean, I don't know. Like
how's the house not rot away with?
I have no idea.
Grass
No, because everything's
living
metal. Every part of
Underneath.
the house, is
Underneath
metal
is
because
metal.
the winds are just as bad as the snow.
Metal
Probably worse.
rusts.
The wind is worse, in Iceland than the snow that they deal with, and so everything is like metal.
Yeah, Brian.
Wow.
Here's something interesting too that you and Eric would be real interested in. They also on their roof. It was a living roof. Had all grass inside. It was so cool. But they also had magic mushrooms up there.
It was magic
really?
mushroom
They did.
season. We couldn't find any.
Get out.
Someone had
Yeah.
already been up there.
The gardener had picked them. The
Interesting.
gardener had picked.
But they were
mushrooms.
like blueberries, like just
Oh,
growing.
wild
You could
blueberries.
just walk around and pick blueberries
Very
off
cool.
the ground and eat
Yeah.
them. The water, you could just drink the water.
Yep.
Really?
Wow, that's neat.
Perfectly clean water.
Gave you the shits, but you could drink the water.
Well, they say it's got the lowest crime rate anywhere. But they also say they have the nicest people on the planet.
They are so nice.
Is
Sounds
that
like
true?
Pete was doing some
So
research in
nice.
between tennis matches.
Yeah. Now, if
Please
you're
go to
if you're
Iceland.
single though, living in Iceland is tricky. Beck, right?
Well, if you're from Iceland.
If you're from Iceland and you're
Because
single,
if you're from Iceland, you cannot go more than 7 generations back and not find someone related to you.
how about that? So they actually have an app that you can go on and figure out if that person is
To make sure that
related
they're
to you
not less
that-
than 4
in that
generations.
close window.
Less than
Wow.
4?
Less than 4.
Wow.
The app.
I met
Make
ba-
sure you're not dating your cousin.
Yeah.
back in the day. We I don't know, it was some kind of road trip down to the Preakness.
Yeah.
Right? Down to Baltimore, Timonium.
Yeah.
And me and a bunch of guys, we met these Swedish nannies. Girls, young girls over here from Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, the one of them was
Y'all?
Icelandic, and her last name was Godfin's daughter
Yes.
Yeah.
because her father's name was Godfin,
That's right.
and her brother's last name was Godfinson.
Yes.
That's right. We
Oh,
know
that
this.
was so fascinating.
It is
Yep.
fascinating. We know
Yeah.
this. The bartender explained this to us at the resort.
Yeah.
She was explaining that same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
I missed the premise.
Yeah.
So you would be Glusik's son.
And why? So that I don't
Glusik's son.
But
no, you would actually be Glusik's son bitches.
Beck.
Is that so I don't bed down my daughter or my my
No,
sister?
no, it's just a tradition. Like if you were so
I don't understand.
you were so and so's daughter, you were so and so's son. Like,
Okay,
and that's
yep.
how the names.
What the hell just happened?
I thought you were I thought you were going off on a different tangent.
But so think about it. Your children.
So disgusting.
Well, actually, that's not even true. Like, so your children would have a different last name than you.
Beck, Godfin, I think, was the father's first name.
Yeah, you're right. So, that's what I was
So
thinking.
your son would be Pete's son, and your
Yeah,
daughter
so
would be
Jake
Pete's
would
daughter.
be Jake Pete's son.
Wow.
Jake
And
Pete's
you're not
son.
allowed to have daughters. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
Crazy.
Right.
Oh, and they also,
I'm-
depending on
I'm
which
confused.
tense you're
Yes, you
talking
are.
in, past, present, or future,
Right.
they actually change your first name. Your
They
first
do.
name is actually like translated into a past, present, or future tense.
So confusing.
Oh, her name was Juliana, Godfin's daughter. I just remembered. First name was Juliana. Shout out to Swedish nannies.
Well, that must have been the present tense.
Swedish nannies in the house. What?
From Iceland.
It was a very interesting language.
I think I got a caller on the line.
Oh, we do.
Are they Icelandic?
Let's find out. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Matt from Wisconsin.
How you doing tonight? What's your question?
Well, first I just want to say thank you. I was the grand prize winner for the Ice Biggest Fan Contest.
Yes.
So I just wanted to
Congratulations.
say-
Wow, that's awesome. Congrats.
So, yeah, I mean, that rod and reel is amazing. Everything. I mean, awesome experience.
Cool. Awesome. Glad you liked it.
So my question would be for you, like, now fishing Major League Fishing and the bass. I mean, a lot of what you guys are talking about tonight about, more for the angler side of things.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the fishery aspect of it? Do you think that it's better for these fisheries, like fishing the Major League, fishing format, than it is the bass format? So I know on that last tournament on Thousand Islands, Justin Lucas said that he had 6 fish die.
Yeah.
So you get penalized, for that. And I don't know how often, I don't see it in the show, but
Yeah.
is it better for the fish with that Major League Fishing format?
It is. It is. I mean, that's honestly a big benefit of that format, which is catch, weigh, and release immediately, and from a conservation standpoint, MLF has really stepped up the bar, and not that I'm not going to say there's no mortality, no death from fish in the MLF, but catching, weighing, releasing immediately, and especially, you can't hit the carpet, you got to do a slow release. All that stuff's intended to promote a healthy fisheries. In tournaments, they have about a 80 to 90% release ratio in most of those events. So, that you're going to lose some fish, and that's the reality of that. So, I think from a conservation standpoint, MLF is better, Pete?
Yeah.
And that's certainly going to be what the perception is, but there's no mortality statistics with MLF.
That's true.
So we really don't know the answer. We can certainly, I agree with you. It's probably the case.
Right. Yeah.
But
Probably.
and it's probably the case.
Probably.
You
Well,
just
the
don't
thing,
know.
the thing is, like on the FLW
Okay.
that was at St. Clair, I heard guys talking about like on the third day of that event, guys idling out of what's it called, Metro Harbor.
Metro.
Yeah, idling
Metro
out of
Harbor.
Metro, and there's corpses everywhere
it's,
on either side of the canal. I mean, that sucks.
We hate that. We certainly don't want that. And Justin Lucas arguably lost the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Those dead
He
fish.
definitely lost that tournament with those 6 fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just because they're bringing them up from the depths.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
think,
see, at the MLF, you're still in that scenario. You'd still be bringing them up from the depths.
Well, that's a good
but you're
point.
releasing them immediately, not towing them around for 6 hours.
But you still released or filled up their
That's
air
true.
bladder.
That's true.
So you're still going to deal with how many of them are going to be able to recover and get back down.
Right.
Are you going to have to, fizz them You know, you can't compare them.
Right.
They're two different fisheries.
Yeah.
But
that was a great question.
It's a great question. Honestly, it's a complicated question. I appreciate that though, but we can't compare them with the MLF because there's no stats.
We need stats. Marty Stone, if you're watching, you should be the statistician for that.
If I was MLF, I'd say we're way better. There's no way to prove otherwise.
Yeah, but bass, if they come in and they clearly have air in their bladder, the guys know how to fizz them there at the release boat.
They do.
6 hours after they were caught.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I mean, either way. I mean, but at least they're getting.
Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
But at least they're getting emptied. You know what I mean?
Right.
When they're putting them back.
Right.
Peter.
Well, a lot of
Peter's advocate.
Use catch and release. We have something to sedate the fish. You have weights to put on their fins. Arguably, when you release the fish, he's in better shape than when you first had him in your hands.
It's true.
No, what do you mean it's true?
Well, I mean,
I'll just be saying stuff.
There's something.
It's an argument to be made.
Don't let Peter.
We get our hands on them. We protect them. We do the best we can to release them better.
I don't think that the bends thing's killing most of those fish. I mean, most of the ones that I saw die were hooked in the tongue or had a deep hook in them. They weren't the ones that had the bends. You know what I mean?
Is that right?
Those fish make it back.
I think one of the things that gets them too, especially in the smallmouth in that scenario, is the exhaustion. You're using light line, and you're not getting in a hurry to get those fish into the boat. By the time they get there, the exhaustion factor.
You fought them for 10 minutes.
I don't know.
Is a big factor.
I don't know, Pete. I saw them 4 or 5 pounders come in awfully quick. Quicker than any 2-pound smallmouth I've ever caught.
Depends on who you watched. You know, some of the guys with braid, were bringing them in so much quicker than guys with a straight fluoro. Interesting.
Yeah. All right, Matt, you've tore this room apart with that question. We were at each other's throats.
Well, yeah, I mean, I watched both events, and it's kind of, crazy when you see, the fish aspect of it.
Yeah.
When I fish small local tournaments around here, and, I mean, you see fish die every tournament, but, when I watch the show, and I only see it on the show, you don't see any fish really killed, watching the actual Major League Fishing show. So I wasn't sure, if there was its greatest loss or if it was, just better. Because you get, Thousand Island, like you guys were talking about, now that it's made aware and you're going to have bass events there, is that fishery going to be the same in 5 years?
It's certainly a valid concern, and I love all the things that MLF is doing. I really do. I love the things that Bass is doing to protect the fish and conserve the resource. I think it's an amazing thing for the sport. It is tough. When you see a 4 or 5 pound fish, he's 20 years old. He's older than Eric, the intern. So you want to protect that fish, and we want to do everything we can possibly do to put those fish back and make them safe. To continue on. So, but it's a great observation. It's certainly a part of our sport that we continue to refine and continue to get better at. But it's a great observation and great question.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Congrats on the big
All right,
W.
you guys have a good rest of your night.
You too, buddy.
Thank you. Now that we're all depressed with fish mortality.
Now we're all pissed off.
Yeah, going off of that conservation of fish topic, I just had one thing to mention real quick, and I did a video on the Ike Live social media about this not too long ago. Release Ruler has got something really cool going on right now. It's called the 2018 Huge Bass Championship. A release ruler is basically a portable ruler you can take around. You can measure your fish, put them right back in the water. There's no, reducing fish mortality, all that good stuff. And like I said, they have something going on right now, the 2018 Huge Bass Championship. You can submit your catches that you measure on the release ruler and then have a chance to win some really cool stuff. So go check them out, releaseruler.com.
What does the release ruler do? I mean,
it's just a ruler to measure your fish. It's a simple concept, but like I said, they got this Huge Bass Championship going on right now where you can take a picture of your fish with the ruler, and there's different brackets, and it's a pretty cool deal. So like I said, just go to releaseruler.com, check out more, and it's a perfect thing to talk about.
It's all bass fishing or just any fish?
I believe it's bass. It's the Huge Bass Championship.
Anyone in the world can compete against each other.
In the United States.
Pretty cool.
It is.
I feel like I'm at a significant disadvantage being in no Jersey, where there's no big ones.
Well, it depends on what kind of species you're after, dude.
I think that's where the bracket system comes
Yeah.
into play too. I don't think you're going up against guys from Florida.
I mean, we got monster catfish on the Susquehanna River, not far away. We got giant striped bass and bluefish and all kinds of species around here. Well, that must have been an amazing trip to Iceland.
Yes. Now I'm back here.
How post-vacation depression?
Yeah.
How did you pick Iceland?
I don't know. It was always on my bucket list. It's like huge on my bucket list. I wanted to go to Iceland.
Is it because women rule the country?
Do women rule the country?
That's what I read.
They probably do, knowing Becky.
That's what it is.
I know. We all know what you're up to, Beck.
No, it's always been on my bucket list. And
Uh-huh.
I told Mike, I said, I for my 40th birthday, a trip somewhere is what I want. And so he listened.
Wow.
And a trip it was.
You got married by a
Did you see the Great Wall?
There's a Great Wall?
Isn't that where Game of Thrones wall?
Yeah,
is?
they have like tours and stuff. They do film there.
Hey, Pete, we got a call on the line. Willie Williams on the one.
Willie Williams, welcome to the Ike Live Show. What can we do for you?
What's going on, my friends? How are you?
Well, man, we're doing great. What's your question?
Well, I more of a statement than anything. So, all the money gets dumped into FLW. The Cup gets moved from Ouachita. There's all this talk about a new league. Something's going down in 2020, and I just want your thoughts on it. I mean, more than rumors, your gut's got to tell you that something else is happening here, at least a setup for like a big 2020 change.
Well, we talked for hours about it, and yeah, the rumors are not unsubstantiated, but there's definitely some groups that are making plays, and they're going to be changing things. But you brought up something that's really, really interesting that we hadn't talked about, is that the FLW Cup was moved.
Yeah, they said it was for cell coverage, but I got to think there's just more to that than just cell coverage.
Well, what do you think? In addition to the cell coverage, which I agree, it's kind of a cryptic reason to move a tournament.
Yeah.
What do you think was the reason they moved it?
Willie Williams.
Well, I think they're kind of maybe just a theory, but maybe bringing it back home to Arkansas. There's kind of bringing all of the history back for a kind of a big bang in 2020, and that's going to be kind of a kickoff for maybe one league or the joining of a league, maybe something of that scenario.
Ooh. Wow. I like that conspiracy theory.
Lot of thoughts there.
I like that one.
Think about all the changes they're making. It's got that writing all over it.
Yeah.
I did
You're
not.
right.
I
didn't think of it
I
from
did
that
not
perspective, but I
relate
like that.
the moving of the FLW Cup to anything that's going on.
No, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
With the timing. Dude, how amazing. I think it would be amazing. I think it would be amazing that in one short year we could solve half of the problems and create one league with one world championship. Dude.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. The writing's on the wall. The money's getting sponsored and laid down, if you will, in one organization. And there'll be some other changes coming, but I think the writing's there.
Willie on the wall.
I like it.
I think Willie should be the new president of the Anglers Association.
I agree.
Willie,
I
Willie,
nominate
we might
him.
need to get your contact info.
Hey, it's on the caller ID, but if you want to talk in more detail with some other conspiracy theory, I'm here to chat, my friend.
I like it. Man, that's a good one. I actually think that's the best theory we've had all night. We've had a lot of theories thrown around. I like that one the best. Wow.
Well, it was pretty fascinating the fact that they claimed that cell coverage. I mean, one of the callers or one of the IM guys asked a question about what are we doing to cater to the the new community,
right? And
FLW, appears to be making the statement minus the conspiracy theory that because of the better cell coverage, they can produce a better product and they can bring the viewership into the tournament better by moving the tournament to a place that has better cell coverage. That's it does seem far fetched, but that if that's face value, that's that's pretty, impressive on the way the sport's going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to need that cell coverage when they make that announcement. Trust me. That's probably a good play on their part.
Wow, man, that's a great one.
I love the trash talk, Willie.
I do too. Thanks for the call, Willie. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.
See you, buddy.
That and wasn't somebody shot at Lake
Hamilton?
Lake Hamilton, Brian the Carpenter?
I don't know, was it?
Yeah, that didn't what's our homie that we had on the list?
Wait a minute, did it go from Ouachita to Hamilton?
It went from Ouachita to Hamilton. Oh, yeah, it was in Ouachita.
Yeah.
What was our homie that covered Ouachita?
Like what?
We had him on the last show. The website is not around anymore. What's his name? Jeff Crate.
Flowers?
Yeah, Randy Flowers.
I thought that might be who that was.
I thought maybe it was too. Mother, Randy Flowers.
What did we talk about?
Randy Flowers.
He sounded a lot like Randy Flowers, the caller just now.
The last one?
Yeah.
Have we done everything we're supposed to do? Did you talk about this thing yet?
No, we didn't talk about that.
It's 10 o'clock. Can we do that?
Yeah, we will. Oh my God, yes. We're trying.
Becky's still pissed off she's not in Iceland.
I know.
If anyone hasn't noticed,
I am too.
She's been furious since
I
she
am
got
too.
back.
Do we have a caller?
We do.
Okay, let's get this caller and then we'll do our product review. Caller, what's your name? Where you call from?
It's Landon Tucker from Edo, Georgia.
What's up?
What's up, Landon?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing, man? We haven't heard from you in forever.
3 years.
It's been a few years. Yeah.
I want to tell you though, you're one of the original Ike Live supporters, and we thank you for that. Landon.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Always, dude.
What's cooking? How you been? What's going on? What's shaking?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just working and still fishing some, and probably going up to Gunners with my dad in a few weeks. He made the coach championship this year, so
Yes.
that's good.
That is good. That's good stuff. Do you have any conspiracy theories as well?
I've heard some stuff to the grapevine, but everything I've heard has been, said tonight. So that's all I got. But on the topic of you always talk about anglers need to have some formation, like about the PAA or whatever.
Yeah.
So who's going to head that up?
The last caller.
I mean, we sit here.
Willie
talk
Williams.
about it,
Willie
talk
Williams.
about it.
Yeah. That's honestly we were joking and said the last caller, but that's actually a really, really good question. And Becky and I talked about that a little bit. We theorized how that would have to happen, and I think you would have to have, a veteran angler be one or two veteran anglers be a part of it, and I think you would have to make a hire, and there are people out there that are sort of labor organizers that's their profession, and from a legal standpoint, they know what to do, how to organize, and how to do labor rights, and
they never have found Jimmy Hoffa.
Right, Jimmy Hoffa's still in concrete, so maybe we could find him and hire him.
Could be the new hire.
But
I'm too young to know who that is.
But wait, here's the real question.
Yes,
he is. But here's the real question. Landon, do you know who Cheech and Chong is?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for knowing that.
Back when I worked at Academy, they called me Cheech for some reason. I had a lot longer hair back then, and yeah, it was.
I think I know why.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Getting back to this, getting back to this point. It's not like what we're talking about doing has never been done, dude. It's been done in football. It's been done in baseball. It's been done in hockey. It's been done in golf to a certain extent. So this thing's it's not out of the realm of possibility. You just have to get the guys on the same page. And your example that you gave of Ray Scott was a great example, right? This may be our one chance to stand up and fight for what's right. And we don't want to let it slip past,
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it's a great example. The Ray Scott.
But and Ken,
what I see happening
Duke made a great point.
Where you go?
What did you feed me? Brian poisoned my
I ate the same stuff, so don't blame me for his diarrhea.
One more thing. Yeah, like what Ken said, how often is it that we hear that the anglers get whatever they want?
How often do you hear that?
Have you ever heard that?
I've never, as an angler, we never get what we want. Is that what the perception is out there in the fishing community?
It's whatever Bass says goes, whatever FLW says goes.
Well, that's true. Well, that's true. But I think Ken made a good point. He said that the anglers need to have one singular voice. Yeah. They need to have one voice as a group, and it's very, very hard. I mean, we've got guys that are 20-year, 30-year veterans, and we got new rookies, but every sport's faced that same challenge, you know. But at some point, the anglers need to have one voice, and if in the best case scenario for the anglers, it's a lightning bolt, like Ray Scott was. You know, it's a powerful character, it's a powerful voice that can communicate a great message, that can negotiate with all these powerful people. You know, like Johnny Morris and, you know, Bass and FLW that can do that. You know, that's what I think the anglers need.
I think there's a perception that if the anglers were to have a union, that it's a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing, because the anglers need the tournament organization for a platform. So they need them. The tournament organization serves a huge purpose and is very needed. But they also need the anglers to come together and be of joint mind and be very together and unified, because the anglers are needed for the tournament organizations to exist. So they need the anglers, and the anglers need the tournament platform. So there's no reason that you shouldn't have both of those. There's no negative in there. It's all a positive for the sport to move forward and progress to that next level.
I agree. They both need each other. Transparency. They've got to be able to talk. They've got to be able to work together. The anglers have felt disparaged in a lot of the cases. And, you know, honestly, I don't know what the owners' beefs are.
Owners?
Yeah, like the FLW Bass. You know, I know the anglers, right? We beef all the time, man. We're, you know.
Mike's in the bathroom beefing right now. Right back.
It's going to be a fun night.
Well, he ain't here, so he's beefing somewhere.
Beefing.
Here's my dream scenario. I can see it happening right now. You guys are all going to attempt to organize. The owners are going to lock you out. And the YouTubers are going to take over. And fish the tournament.
That's your dream scenario?
Oh, my God. How amazing would that be? Oh, my God. That'd be so incredible.
Disturbing.
I would love to see that.
I wonder if any of the invitations
I would
in
love
this
to see
new
how good they are
formation
without editing.
went out to the YouTubers.
How good can they catch them without being able to edit the videos? That's what I want to see.
I know.
love it.
I got abused on my last live piece. They're like, is Gluzek ever going to catch a fish?
That's true. I remember it.
It's easy. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, when you go live, you go live.
Yeah.
But that's a great question. I thank you very much for your input. And
Good to hear from you, Landon.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Don't make it another 3 years.
Guys.
All right, see you, buddy.
Hey, I love the show. Keep it up. Yep.
All right.
Tell Tucker.
See you, buddy.
Bye, guys.
Oh,
So
man.
did you talk about that cool little new line cutters deal?
Yes.
We did,
We
man.
sure did.
All right, good.
The zipper pull.
I'm just checking on you guys.
I know.
Yeah,
Keep
you
it up.
are.
We didn't do the unboxing yet. You want to do it?
Oh, you know what? A quick shout out to Steve Donis. Our buddy Steve's, his daughter's been going through it again. Yeah, Steve's very, very, very dear to us. The sweetest human being ever. And his daughter's been going through a lot of surgeries and some complications lately. So please keep Steve in your prayers. Steve now, he's doing some artwork for Bass, right? Was he in Bass Times?
Yeah, he was doing some stuff for them. He
Yeah.
got that deal at the Classic, remember?
Yep.
He's so excited.
He
He's
did.
like a human teddy bear. He is
Yes,
the
he is.
Absolutely.
kindest person.
It's a big love fest when Steve's around.
I know. We should
Steve
all
is the
aspire
best.
to have a heart as big as his.
Yes.
Indeed. Yep.
But we're all just angry, grumpy people.
I know.
That's-
We
yeah.
need
Right.
more relaxation rooms.
I couldn't even hang out in a relaxation room. What does that say about me? My flawed personality.
You're too tense,
I
Pat.
can't even relax.
It sounded to me like in Iceland, there's nothing. They don't have anything for you guys to do. They just there's nothing to do here. Let's call it a relaxation room.
right?
Yeah.
Just lay here. In a
And we'll put
cocoon.
chairs out, and we'll sell it.
I bet you a majority of the world would have thought that was a lovely place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you guys just got the giggles.
Shout out to Big Kevs.
Shout out to Big Kevs. Thanks for the shits.
Won't blame him for your problems.
No, I don't.
Drink the hot tub water tonight.
Maybe I have. I don't know.
How was that prepared or kept on the ride from New York State to the Iaconellis?
In tinfoil on my dashboard.
I only had one.
Uh-huh.
It didn't help that you rubbed it on your taint before you fed it to me.
Dude, those ribs were
gosh.
No, the ribs are great.
Let's
I'm
talk
just
about
messing
this
around.
thing and open a box.
Okay, let's do that. This is a cool part of the show, Pete, and this is the TH Marine product review, and we've reviewed some really
Is that a new part? We're doing product review?
We're doing product reviews. We've been doing it.
Okay.
We've been doing it. What are you talking about? This is a new
I
part.
hadn't been here for a couple shows.
Okay. And we've done some staples from TH. Of course, we've done Atlas Jack Plate. We've done the Coal Rings. We've done G-Juice. Gosh, we've done so many great products from TH. But here's a new one that I really like. I actually installed this on my own boat before the last tournament. Literally 5 minutes install on this thing. And it's the Troll Jacket, okay? It's a Troll Jacket. And the best way I can describe it to our viewers, because I know who the Ike Live viewer is, it's a condom for your trolling motor.
Trolling motor cables.
Right, for your trolling motor cables is the best way I can describe it. I'm going to undo this thing, Pete, and I'll show you what we've got here. And we've got a neoprene style wrap. It's got a heavy-duty Velcro on either side, and you can wrap this thing around your trolling motor cable. It does a couple things, man. It keeps it it keeps it from tearing. You know, a lot of times that stress, you'll get those cracks and rips in your cable sleeve. It also keeps your wires more contained, right? I've even seen some guys only use like 1 or 2 zip ties now that they're using this.
Right.
Because it keeps it totally contained, which is nice. If you have an emergency transducer
you gotta do a
change,
repair.
it makes it a lot nicer. But man, what a cool product right here. It's the Troll Jacket. And we're going to be giving this away tonight, Brian the Carpenter. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yes, we're giving
I don't
this
know if
away.
anyone's still watching.
I don't know if anybody's still watching.
So this
So the two of you still watching.
Yes.
Brandon Tucker and Willie.
Yeah, you have a
Willie
chance to
Williams.
win the
Willie
Troll
Williams.
Jacket.
this goes from the foot pedal
That's right.
up to the trolling motor. Well, wherever the cables tie into the trolling motor.
That's right.
Depending on which brand you have, it'll go into the bracket or it'll go into the trolling motor.
That's
head,
right.
up
this,
to the head.
This is a universal wrap. So if you're running Minn Kota, it works. If you're running Motor Guide, it works. If you have one of those old bass boats and you're running that Johnson OEM trolling motor, you remember that thing? Dude, guys had that up at Pack High. I remember guys running that Johnson.
Dude, that was the greatest foot pedal.
It was, wasn't it?
That was so easy to control.
Yeah.
That was a good...
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Speaking of rumors, I heard there's a third-party trolling motor manufacturer.
What?
On the front. Minn Kota. If anybody from Minn Kota is watching, you might want to prepare yourself.
What?
I heard there's a third-party trolling motor manufacturer.
MLF trolling motor?
Well, I don't know if it's MLF or not. I can't confirm.
Is it Asian?
Maybe Asian. I don't know.
Everything's MLF.
Tohatsu?
Speaking of Asian, did you hear John McGraw's going to Scotland?
I heard that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Wait, how did you hear that?
What's that?
How did you hear that?
I heard it from Big John today. Big John Milchanowski said, "Hey, did you hear that John's going to Scotland?" I was like, "No."
So
I didn't hear
you
that."
heard from Milch that McGraw's going to Scotland.
Yes.
And how the hell did you hear?
I talked to McGraw.
Yeah, we need an intervention.
What do you
That
mean?
kid's lost his goddamn mind. Tired of his bullshit.
Ryan's just mad that he's not the first to know.
That's right.
No,
You're the
no,
last to
when
know.
we go far enough back,
he
that
angry right
retard needs to
now?
pull his head out of his ass and call freaking friends. Tired of his bullshit. Cut this piece and send it to McGraw tomorrow.
Dude, let's
On
have.
it.
Dude,
Fucking had
here's.
it with him.
This is a great idea.
I can see why he calls me now.
Call Pete McGraw.
Dude, this is a great idea for a show. Let's get McGraw here in this room. We'll do an intervention like that show on TV. How funny would that be? We'll have all his loved ones. We'll have Mrs. McGraw.
No.
Mr. McGraw. Mike McGraw.
Mike is literally the worst idea you've ever had.
No, it's not.
Becky.
No, this is a great idea for a show.
We're not doing this.
Dude, John would be like, we'll be breaking it down to him, and you'll be talking, John, why you need to, this, and
yeah, that's about where
somewhere deep down in my heart, John, somewhere.
For everyone who has no idea who John McGraw is, we're gonna move along.
Okay. All right.
He used to be a friend of ours.
He's
now Pete's
still a
friend.
friend of ours. He's
now Pete's friend.
That's not true.
You can catch him in Scotland in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Good luck in Scotland.
Please check it out. A brand new product, TH. It's a troll jacket. Really cool product. Check it out. It'd be great on your trolling motor. Let's do the unboxing right now. This is a really cool part of the show. We're going to do a mystery tackle box. Are we doing the Elite box, Bri? The Elite box?
No.
It's Pro box.
Which one did you give me?
The one in front of you. Oh. Grab it and break the tape.
Right there. Yeah.
That's probably it.
Okay, we're going to do a mystery tackle box unboxing. This is a Pro box. And as usual, we're going to pass it around. We're going to pass it to Pete, and we're going to pass it to Becky, and we're going to all pick out one product. And here's the best part of this box. Listen, I love to hear the seal break for the first time. Listen to this. Ready? Everybody quiet. Ready? Here it goes. Did you hear that breaking?
Didn't see that coming.
Everything's
great sound that is. All right, we're gonna do a little review here. God, I gotta, man. This actually is a good box, dude.
I know.
Brian the Carpenter.
I told you.
Got Snatchers in here, all kinds of stuff.
Snatchers?
Could be a Snatchers. I'm gonna pick one, Pete, and pass it to you. I want to talk about this real quick. We've got a Lunker Hunt prop frog, and with the whole craze right now of whopper plopper, buzz bait, churning type baits, this is actually a really cool bait. I actually wanted to try this. I never did. I'm gonna undo this from the box here and let you take a look.
What's
at
on the back of it?
It's got. Look at this.
It's got the trailer hook
yeah,
on it.
It has the trailer hook in the middle, and it's got two. Look at this, Pete. Two whopper plopper style legs in the back. So hollow bodied frog, pretty weedless, pretty soft, big trailer. Dude, at night that would be a killer, eh?
Hey,
what do you think about that, eh?
Hey, do either one of you guys mess around with that trailer hook on a frog?
No, but you got me interested in it though.
You really don't?
I don't mess around with it. No.
Does anybody throw it?
I don't think so.
Well, I know a lot of people coming in my boat throw it.
I can tell you the frog guys that I know, Rojas,
yeah.
Crochet, Ashama, they do not throw it.
Right. Why, does it change the action?
I don't know.
Oh, speaking of frogs, that sneaky frog.
Oh, yes.
Dude, that sneaky frog's ridiculous.
It's the bomb. It's
it
the real
catches
deal.
them.
Sneaky frog's the real deal.
Had a lot of fun with that this weekend.
Actually.
Well, we only had the big one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the bomb.
They are outstanding.
See the way it walks?
Dude, you can walk it in one spot.
Oh yeah.
You can just stay in one spot.
Oh, yeah. It's like a super spook.
Really good hookup percentage too.
Yeah. Really.
I
It's
was
soft,
jacking them
and
on
it's
it.
got that big giant hook
Super
on it.
long hook on it.
Hooks in the back.
Dude, wait till you start skipping it under docks. Those fish have no idea. They've never seen a topwater under there.
Oh, you could sit it under that dock for like 10 minutes. I feel like just.
So anybody listen? That's a mullock sneaky frog.
Sneaky frog. It's the deal. All right, Pete, your product is spinnerbait. Dobbins. Bob Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina, Gary Dabalina, Mr. Gary Dabalina.
Dobbins.
Dobbins is making a spinnerbait.
Diving into the spinnerbait world. Who knows what else? I didn't know this.
Looks good though.
Hold it out again, Pete.
Gary Dobbins.
Components look
from
nice
Dobbins
on it.
rods. From throw it up to you, E. Won like 6,000 million boats out on the
Out
West Coast.
Dobbins is a stick out west.
Dominant stick out on the West Coast. Coming out with a spinnerbait. Looks
Anybody watching
like
it?
a blue herring.
Blue
model.
herring.
Becky's on her phone.
Yep. Nope, that's not on her phone. Looks like she's on her phone.
Oh, my bad.
She's looking at a bait. All right, so we had a spinnerbait, and now this, Beck, I think you picked. There's a lot of cool products in there, but I think you picked the most unique product in the whole box. And what do you have there?
So this is a larva from Fanatic Bait.
A larva.
It looks like a larva.
And it's purple and sparkly.
Whoa.
And it almost has like this like beaver tail thingy like for vibration. I don't even know what to say. It's like a beetle.
It looks
in
like a
the front.
Helgramite. A Helgramite. How do you say that? Helgramite.
How do you think you hooked this? Show that to everybody. How do you think you hooked
Is it
that?
Helgramite or Helgramite?
Helgramite.
Helgramite.
I'm actually really curious to see what that does in the
Yeah, can I
water.
see one? That's
yeah,
actually
it's
interesting.
really cool. Here, Pete. I'm really curious about this.
Texas rig.
It's pretty. It's incredible.
jointed, kind of. It's got a big head to.
Dude, what about biting?
Work
Brian
with?
the Carpenter, what about biting the head off that and putting it on the back of a chatterbait? With that
Okay.
single little, right?
I mean, it has a lot of movement.
I can see that.
Or what about biting the head off it and putting it on a scrounger? Ooh.
Oh, I'm scrounger.
That's a cool bait.
What do you do with this?
You put it next to the coffee pot where your wife gets her coffee in the morning.
That would scare Liv.
Now you could Texas rig this. You could use it as a jig trailer or trailer. You could Carolina rig it.
Yeah, you could Texas rig it.
Dude, you
It's
know what
a
it
creature?
does look
It's a
like,
creature
though?
bait.
Yeah. What's the kids still have it, but when we were young, we had it.
Ronnie.
No, it was the thing where it's like a toy, and you have molds, and you pour the hot.
Oh, creepy critter.
Creepy crawlers.
Creepy crawlers.
It looks like a creepy
Yeah,
crawler.
it's
mold.
pretty cool. There's some other good stuff in here. Got some more soft plastics.
What's that soft plastic with the big wagtail on it?
It's
Snatrix,
It's
right?
supposed to be. It's supposed to
Snatrix?
be an eliminator. It's an eel.
An eel. Oh, Delaware River, Pete.
Eel.
Young of the
But-
year, Sarasotas.
Dances eel.
It's just like one big tail.
Young of the year, Sarasotas.
They're real fat. With
Don
just one big
Skaluski
tail.
talking about young of the
Yo,
year, Sarasotas.
By the way, Pete's boy still throws them. Don Sky spinnerbaits.
Who does?
Oh man,
Rich?
No, Craig. Craig gets.
Oh,
Craig Duran.
Craig's found it at a flea market, fishing flea market deal.
Yeah.
He found a guy that is patterned the old.
You're
Zalewski.
kidding me.
Yeah, hydro lure.
Parachute front?
Parachute front.
Tinfoil in it?
Tinfoil, red.
Wow.
Red things.
Yeah.
Got the hammered blades.
Whoa.
Yeah,
The
he
whole
catches
bit.
them on it too.
On the Delaware River, man, he wins tournaments out there and he catches them on it all the time.
Wow.
Hydra
spin. Skaluski.
That's a good
You have to
bait.
give me your purple creatures back.
Parachute.
Mine
front.
purple's right there.
It's a good spinnerbait.
Yes.
Because
Very, very good.
at Christmas, someone will be receiving this.
Yes.
It's Christmas time in Hollis, Queens.
Oh no, we gotta give that away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, before anybody pockets that stuff, we're supposed
Yeah.
to give that to one of the winners. for
Yeah,
tonight.
we're giving that away tonight.
We gave it away.
You're only getting 3 of them.
I think we're
out.
Yeah, we're out. Let me thank everybody for watching tonight. It's been a great show. We had an amazing lineup tonight, Pete, including Ken Duke. What's his new title now, Bri? What do we call him?
The czar of I don't know.
The Czar? No, it was something else before. The Czar of professional bass fishing.
Oh, the
Statistician.
Duke.
Someone said the
Duke of
Basscopedia.
professional bass
The
fishing.
Swami.
The Basscopedia.
Schwab.
Shout out to Ken Duke. Really great insight to the state of the sport right now. Also had Justin Atkins on, Beck.
Yep.
Recent winner of the Bass Open down on that Alabama lake, whatever the hell the name of that lake was. And also want to give a special shout out to all the callers that called in tonight. That was really nice to have some callers again. I like that. We need to incorporate that
we
into
need
the
to do
shows.
that more, man.
Yeah, it's really good. Want to remind everybody.
You talk so damn much, we never get time.
I know. It's my fault.
My bad.
A lot of great sponsor plugs real quick. If you're watching, before I let you go to MTB, use the promo code Ike Live. You're going to get a discount there. Go to Bash University, use the promo code TRYBU. We're going to give you 10 days free. Go to TH Marine, use the promo code Ike Live. Go to Liquid Mayhem, use promo code Ike Live 25 for 25% off, the best scent in the world. Go to Real Snot, promo code Ike Live 25, 25% off. All the Real Snot product, longer, smoother cast. Flambeau, Pete, you mentioned this earlier. Go to Flambeau, use the promo code Ike Live. 20% off anything on Flambeau, Beck, including hunting stuff. For all our hunting guys watching right now.
Yeah.
It's a big bonus. It's a double.
You can get the backpack.
That's right.
We don't have a TH promo code.
whatever. And then finally,
but you should go and try to use that at TH.
You should.
And
You
get
should
mad
definitely
when it
do
doesn't
that.
Work.
Yeah.
Make sure you hit up their customer service.
That's right. Hit the customer service and say you gotta have a promo.
Get in my DMs. I'll give you Luke Duncan's direct contact.
His personal
He'll
cell phone
juice
number.
you up.
Yeah. Last but not least, Tackle Warehouse. Go to Tackle Warehouse and buy a Ike Revo right now, and you'll get a free Abu Garcia tournament jersey, limited edition tournament jersey. It's pretty good shit.
Oh, and starting this week, you can go to MikeIaconelli.com and buy that super cool hat you have on your head.
That's right. Brand new, the plaid.
They showed up on
Plaid
Friday.
pattern hat right here. Brian DeCarver, give me a little close up right here, can you?
Yeah, man.
Real quick. Making you work one last time. Look at that. Little plaid, new plaid Ike logo hat.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Hot off the presses.
I
heard John McGraw gets that hat.
I don't know who that is, Pete. The friend formerly known as John McGraw.
That's right. Oh, and real quick, I forgot Line Cutters, the brand new zipper pull available for pre-order. Go to linecutters.com. Use Ike Live Rules 20.
That's right.
20% off any line
Be the
cutters.
first kid on your block with one.
That's right. Brian DeCarpenter, too. Let me remind everybody, if you want to catch up on old Ike Lives, if you missed some of the last shows, we have Caleb Summerall on the last one. If you missed that show, you can go back anytime, and you could watch on IkeLive.com, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube. And if you're at iTunes, do us a favor. If you like what you hear, if you enjoy the programming, give us a positive review. That'll help us a lot. Upcoming show schedule?
Yeah,
who knows? This is probably the last one forever and ever.
That's the last.
Because Becky hates the show, so it's probably can't. Pete, did you have something before we
go?
Yeah,
real quick. I just want to give a shout
All right,
out.
thanks, everybody.
to Kyle Hall, the winner of the Costa on Thousand Islands.
Yes, that's right. Kyle Hall.
And our boy Carl Jacobson.
Yeah.
Carl.
Second place.
Second place.
Good job, mate.
Congrats, mate.
Second place.
Straight away.
That was awesome.
2020. That's what the weigh-ins look like at Thousand Islands.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Beck, we got to buy property up there. We just have to. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Hope you have a great week. It's Monday tomorrow. Have a safe week. Have a great week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to Pete Glusick, Rebecca on the couch, Eric the intern, Brian DeCarpenter. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. And once again, sorry to Dick Morris. And we're supposed to have you on the show, but it just didn't work out. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, and don't forget to watch Fish My City. It's supposed to come out who knows when.
October 12th.
October 12th. Actually, I will say this. I know. I will say this. No, I'm not gonna keep everybody for long. But the next Ike Live, we're gonna have an Ike Live between now and when that show airs. Right?
I hope so.
No, we're gonna. We're gonna have. It's gonna be a really cool show because we're gonna have clips that nobody else will be able to see.
Okay.
We're gonna premiere here on Ike Live. We're also gonna fill you in on. Let's just do it right now. We'll give you the date. You know the date of the premiere party?
Yeah,
Let's just do it.
October 11th. It's the day before.
October 11th at Xfinity in
What?
Philadelphia.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Xfinity Live. Yeah, we've got our own bar.
We're having a giant
Look at me lounging.
Yeah.
Come
Fish
hang out
My
with
City.
me.
Yes, we're having a giant Fish My City premiere party, open to the public. Everybody's invited at Xfinity in Philadelphia. We're going to give you more information on the next Like Live. It's going to be good, Pete.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a good time.
John McGraw has a table reserved.
He
already.
does. John has a table with vodka.
I hope it's at the other end.
Right next to it.
Love it. All right, everybody have a great night. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night.
All right, just coming home from fishing, and tonight Ike Live around 7-ish, 7:10, 7:12. It's going to be a crazy show. It always is. It's always insane. But, all right, Brian, you're friends with me on Facebook and Twitter. Mike, Ike, the man, he's friends with me on Facebook and Twitter. Eric the intern, I sent a friend request, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago, nothing. Crickets. So, I think that needs to be a topic of discussion. Why doesn't Eric the intern, or why hasn't Eric the intern friended Jim from Loaded for Bass? Let's discuss that tonight. Just a, I don't know, 1-2 minute segment after a couple of beers. Let's find out why Eric the intern doesn't follow or friend Jim from Loaded for Bass on Facebook, Twitter. Gotta watch Women to Go, I'm gonna crash. Good little sidebar for tonight. Let's get people on the IM and all that. All right, tonight Ike Live, 7-ish. Tune in.
We should have had that in the show.